Greetings and salutations, old friends, and hopefully some new ones. Today, we are going to finally wrap up the strange case of Sarah Adams. For those that don't know, I have a particular interest in people who make claims of having psychic powers, whether they be mental abilities like the ability to telepathically communicate with other people or see the future, communicate with people's dead relatives, or in the strange case of Sarah Adams, she claimed that she had all kinds of superpowers. Friends, I have looked into hundreds of these kind of people, and out of hundreds, I'm batting zero finding one person who can scientifically prove or demonstrate their so-called superpowers. Initially, I got incredibly excited about this girl. She gave me a reading where she was lulling me into a very relaxed state. It was late at night. I think it was past midnight, maybe 1 a.m. And that's of particular interest, is that every time that she wanted to do a session for me, it was always at 1 o'clock in the morning somehow. I found that curious. But the first session, she started lulling me into this super relaxed state and pumping suggestions to me. And suddenly I felt a physical effect of what she claimed, while she claimed that she was working on my aura, or aligning my chakras. And initially, I got pretty excited because I went, I can't believe that she was able to make me physically feel something in my body at a distance. Later, when I deconstructed what actually happened, I thought, this girl is a better fake psychic than anybody that I know and have previously studied, because what she was doing is using a hypnotic induction technique and then pumping a lot of suggestions my way. And we are all of us are susceptible to hypnotic induction and the power of suggestion given the right circumstances. I make no excuses for being human and for initially falling for her superpowers. There was a huge back and forth between her and I can't tell you how many times we talked on the phone or that I spoke with her manager, but it was a good number of phone conversations and so-called psychic sessions. After I leveled with her that we did a part 2 where I sort of broke down that I believed that she was using hypnotic induction typical, like straight out of, the thing is, when she was giving me this reading, something seemed so familiar to me. It's because I had read these hypnotic induction techniques in 10 different books. In fact, I have books on hypnosis and how to how to place people in a state of hypnosis. It's called an induction. There's many different kinds of inductions. She used a very basic, simple one. Focus on your breath. Listen to the sound of my voice. I'm going to begin to count backwards. She was counting backwards, man. That's hypnosis. So eventually I leveled with her. Initially, she was very, I would say that she was convinced that she could convince me of her superpowers. And as soon as I leveled with her and said, look, Sarah, you're using a typical hypnotic induction technique, then she began to try to convince me in other ways. And she said, well, you need more sessions. You're going to need more sessions. And here's what I'll do. I won't say anything. I'll just do the sessions, but you're still going to feel physical effects. And I went, okay, let's do this again. And I wasted hours letting her silently on the other end of the phone to me work on my chakras, align my chakras, I guess, and pull the darkness from my aura. I remember that line. And I felt nothing. I made sure after the first so-called healing session she gave me, I made sure that for the next ones, I was going to be super alert and awake and not in a state where she could manipulate me so easily. The first one, I'm not going to make excuses, but I was exhausted and wasn't planning on doing an hour and a half long psychic session with a psychic that night. But it is what it is. The next sessions, and I believe there was 2 or 3 more, where she tried to have me feel physical effects from her so-called psychic healing, I felt absolutely nothing, just as I thought I would. She began to make excuses for why that is, claiming that I had a cursed ring. The only ring that I have is a wedding ring. And I said, well, I don't believe my wedding ring is cursed, Sarah. And she said, oh, no, it's not that ring. It's a ring with a stone in it. Okay. At one point, I owned a ring with a ruby in it, I guess. Yeah, that's the cursed item. And that's what's causing me to be blocked from being able to work on you. And I said, well, Sarah, I haven't even seen that ring probably in 15 years. I moved a bunch of different times. I don't even have any idea if I still have it in my possession. She went off on some crazy tangent that I had to find that ring and destroy it. I felt like asking if I'm supposed to throw it into a volcano, because, by the way, she mentions Lord of the Rings all the fucking time in some of her talks and stuff. She uses Lord of the Rings, you know. So I don't know if I'm supposed to find this old ring that's blocking her from working on my chakras and my aura and throw it in a volcano like Frodo. I don't know, but that's what she said. Until I found that ring and destroyed it, she would be unable to produce the physical effects or work on my chakras and clear my aura, even though she could do it with that cursed ring the first time using hypnotic induction techniques. So, friends, it's very important, too, that we just recognize the amount of claims that she has made. First of all, she forgets. She forgets things. Here's what she forgets. There are probably 100 hours of her on YouTube talking all kinds of crazy smack, claiming to have all kinds of superpowers. And by the way, I found, I made a list of some of her claimed superpowers, but I thought I got the major of them, and then I realized that there were so many more after I made this graphic. But I'm going to share this graphic that I made with some of her claimed superpowers. So Sarah R. Adams claimed abilities and superpowers. These are just some claims she has made about her superpowers. Each of these claims she made to me directly, verbally, when we talked about what are her abilities. I made notes. I still have those notes. So she claimed that she could diagnose illnesses from your aura, even if she was on the phone. So if, you know, and then I drilled down on that and I said, well, let me ask you a question though, Sarah. Like, what if I was in Australia and you were in the North Pole? Could you still do it? And she said, yeah, time and space has no bearing on this ability. I can do it if you were on Mars. Like if you got in a spaceship and went to Mars, I could still connect with you, you know? And I go, okay. So that's the first. And this first claim is very important in the rest of the story and how we tested her, and she failed completely and totally miserably to prove her superpowers are real. And we'll get to that. Number two, and she has made this claim to me. She's made this claim on video, and she made this claim in print on her previous website or marketing materials, okay? She claims that she can upgrade and repair your DNA. I don't know what upgrading somebody's DNA means or repairing somebody's DNA. Well, I guess fixing flaws in the DNA. I drilled down on that a little bit with her, and she claimed that people's DNA have tiny flaws, and she can go through your DNA and she can repair the flaws in your DNA. And I said, well, I don't even understand, Sarah, how could you do that? And she claimed that she could see people's DNA and work on it. Okay. Now, the third superpower here is something that I have a huge problem with, because to this day, right on her website, she lists anxiety, depression, and addiction as something that she treats people for or gives people sessions for. They're kind of, all of these fake healers are kind of careful with the wording. She doesn't say, I treat anxiety, depression, or addiction, but she lists anxiety, depression, and addiction in the list of problems she can help you with. I have a huge problem with that. If somebody truly has anxiety problems or are depressed, that's very dangerous for them to come to a crackpot claiming that she has. You don't have fucking superpowers, okay? You don't have fucking superpowers. Let's just get that out in the open. Your superpowers are imaginary. They don't exist. Okay, so for you to take money from people and tell them that you're going to work on their depression issues with your superpowers is a disgusting, depraved thing to do to another human being, especially a human being that's suffering from depression. They're already depressed. You're going to take their money, and by the way, take their money at $2.50 an hour and claim that you're going to help them with their depression. Maybe they should see a qualified psychological counselor or psychiatrist if they're truly suffering from depression, and not some fucking nut job that hasn't had a real job in 10 years who claims that she has superpowers. Addiction. Here's another thing she doesn't realize. In many states, in Pennsylvania, you cannot take money from people to help them with either their anxiety or their depression or their addiction problems unless you're a certified counselor, unless you have whatever educational requirements. Each state has different mandates. For example, in my state, you have to have at least a 4-year degree in psychology to counsel someone about anything. To be a marriage counselor, you need a 4-year psychology degree from an accredited college or university. To my knowledge, Sarah Adams does not have an accredited degree in psychology. So I have a huge problem with this third claim of superpowers that she has. And listen, cure people? You can cure people, Sarah, of anxiety, depression, or addiction problems? That's a huge claim. And it requires some kind of a proof. Can you prove that you can cure people of anxiety, depression, or addiction? No, friends, she cannot prove any of this. She will not prove any of this, okay? Now, I threw 4 in here, and I don't even understand what the hell she means by this, but this is another claim that she has made, both on video and to me verbally when we talked about her superpowers. She claimed that she could cure people's illnesses on a cellular level over the phone. Okay. I drilled down on her on this. Well, what if people have cancer? Well, yes, I can help with that. She wouldn't say she could cure any of the ailments I mentioned. I said, well, what if somebody has diabetes? Yes, I can help with that. She always was very careful in her wording. I can help with that. Well, help can mean a lot of things, Sarah. But if you're taking $2.50 an hour from a cancer patient, then you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit if you're taking $2.50 an hour from somebody that has cancer, telling them that you can help them with their cancer for $2.50 an hour. You can't prove that anything that you do has any benefit. You can't prove anything. You will not prove anything. You will not prove that anything you do can be scientifically proven. Nothing that she does can be scientifically proven. None of these ridiculous claims that she makes can be scientifically proven. And it is what it is, friends. Let me put that back. There we go. Okay, so number 5, she can heighten your body's frequency over the phone. I don't even know what that means. What frequency? I try to drill down on her on this. What frequency? Well, and then I would get the woo and the word salad. Well, everyone's, operating at a certain frequency, and I can raise their frequency to a higher vibrational level. It's all gobbledygook, word salad, bunch of nonsense. You can't prove that you can heighten somebody's body's frequency, let alone prove that you could do it over the fucking phone. It's just another bullshit claim from a bullshit person. Number 6, She can repair your damaged aura over the phone. Well, thank God. And then she told me how terribly damaged my aura was. Well, isn't that convenient? I didn't even know that my aura was damaged before I met her. Now I know, but it's okay because she's going to repair my damaged aura for $250 an hour. Great scam she's got running here. Okay. Oh, and this one, and remember, friends, this is just some of her claimed superpowers. There's a lot more, and we're going to unpack some of them. Number 7, she can erase painful memories from your mind completely. Throughout my talks with her, she got very personal, which I found a little bit forward of her. She doesn't know me. So during one conversation, she said, "What is the most painful memory in your life that causes you the most trauma still today?" And I said, "Well, I don't even really feel comfortable sharing that with you." And then she said, "Oh, no, you can because I can help you with that." And I said, "What do you mean you can help me with that?" And she said, "I can erase that painful memory from your mind completely, and you'll never think about it again." I didn't take her up on that, but I found it interesting that she's making claims like that to people, that she can erase painful memories from people's minds completely. I made notes. This is how I wrote it down. She can erase painful memories from your mind completely. Then she sort of almost got into an argument with me. Why wouldn't you want to erase that painful memory? And you may remember from The Strange Case of Sarah Adams Part 2, I said that it is our memories, even the traumatic ones, which make us who we are. I wouldn't want to erase anything. And boy, do I have a few painful and traumatic memories in my past, but don't we all? I would not want to. And so we got in this back and forth, and she's like, "You should let me do it." And I'm like, first of all, I don't believe that you can actually do that. And second of all, even if I was 100% convinced that you could do that, I would not want you messing with my memories like that. This point 7 leads to a whole can of worms. If she is competent enough in hypnotic induction techniques, she may be able to mess with somebody's memories. But is it ethical for her to go into somebody's memories and through the power of suggestion or whatever, erase someone's painful or traumatic memory? I talked to a few different hypnotists who told me that is technically possible, but it would require repeated sessions to continue to bolster the suggestion that you have forgotten that painful or traumatic memory. Do I believe that she's at least competent enough in hypnosis to try that? Yes. Do I believe that she's good enough at hypnosis to actually do that effectively for clients? No. Not by a long shot. She kind of, I would say that she read a few books on hypnosis or was trained in a few hypnotic techniques by someone much smarter than her. She doesn't have the gray matter to pull this off. So we got in with this big argument about erasing painful memories. Next, I also remembered, we're going to stop sharing the screen. I also remembered further down in my notes, I've got about 10 pages of notes on my experience with The Strange Case of Sarah Adams. She made some other claims, which I really, really have a problem with. Like I said, she got very personal and asked a lot of questions. And I violated the first rule, my first rule. When you're dealing with a so-called psychic, you don't volunteer any information, even if they ask, or you give them false information and see if they pick up on the fact that you're giving them false information. But there was something about her. She seemed very genuine in her. I'll give her this. She seems very genuine in her belief that she's trying to help people and use her superpowers to help people. So somewhere along the line of these conversations, always late at night, right? She got me to talk about some personal things, including the fact that I have a son who is autistic and nonverbal. For those that don't know, that means my son speaks very, very little. He says a few words, mostly requests for food. Cookies. It's like Cookie Monster. A few other things. He'll ask for a bath if he wants a bath. he really only speaks a few words. And so we talked about, she asked me about like trauma in my life and what is most traumatic or what makes me feel powerless. And so I mentioned my inability to communicate with my nonverbal autistic son makes me feel powerless. When he's upset and I have no idea why, and you have to guess and all of these different things. And here is another indicator that she is a fucking degenerate lowlife. She is a fucking degenerate lowlife piece of scum who use people's pain against them to profit from them. After getting the knowledge that my son was nonverbal and doesn't speak, and autistic, she started telling me that she could telepathically communicate with him, and she could communicate with him right now. Later on, reconstructing those events, I realized that he was dead asleep at the time that she claimed to be telepathically communicating with him. Listen, you want to play fake psychic, you want to pretend you have superpowers, then go to a fucking comic book convention. Don't play with people's emotions that are already suffering trauma and pain from dealing with something as painful as having a son you can't communicate with who's 8 years old. Now, she claimed that she could communicate with him. And she said, well, I had mentioned that it's really painful because like he's 8 years old and I don't even know what his favorite color is. She guesses blue. His favorite color is blue. And this is when the cold reading started. She started using typical cold reading techniques, which I am well versed with, having studied so many of these frauds. She tells me his favorite color is blue. And I say, well, I have no way of knowing that that's his favorite color. And she said, oh, no, it is. And he's telling me that his room is blue. And I said, no, his room is not blue. And she said, well, he once was in a blue room. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was once in a blue room. Or was it that he had a room once that was blue? And yes, I believe his nursery was blue. Good guess, good guess. But it still did not convince me that she could telepathically communicate with my son. But just the mere fact that she would use my son to get to me, to convince me of her superpowers, means that she's a fucking low-life, degenerate piece of scum. You don't use somebody's handicapped son. You don't pull on my heartstrings by using my handicapped son. That's a piece of shit thing to do. And she did it. And I mean, she was all chips in on she could telepathically communicate with my son and help us, help my family by communicating with my son and finding out, his favorite color and what's wrong with him. So she tells me his favorite color is blue. So I started asking Zachary, what's your favorite color? No response. Then I decided I would test him. I'd say, Zachary, what's your favorite color? Red or blue? He said blue. Yellow or blue? He said blue. White or blue? What's your favorite color? He said blue. It was only later. And then at first I got excited because he was saying blue. And I thought, what if she's really communicating with him and I'm just a skeptical asshole, right? What if she really could? How much would that change my life? If my son was having a meltdown and I could just call this psychic Sarah Adams and say, could you, do your thing with my son because he's having an hour-long meltdown and I don't know why. And she could help me and my family. And she basically said she could and would do that for our family, which is crazy, but it is what it is. Then my wife reminded me that all autistic children, including my son, Zachary, do something called parroting. My wife walks over to him and he says, and says to my son, Zachary, what's your favorite color? Blue or yellow? He said yellow. Zachary, what's your favorite color? Blue or white? He said white. He would just repeat the last word you said. So my initial hope, I suppose, that she was actually able to communicate with my autistic son was quickly shattered when my wife correctly pointed out that he's just parroting back whatever the last word you said is. And we could test him with that. No matter what I say to him, the last thing I say, he will repeat. I could go up to him and say, what's your favorite animal, a lion or a tiger? He'll say tiger. Then I'll say, what's your favorite animal, a tiger or a lion? And he'll say lion. It's just the last word that he hears, he'll repeat. It's called parroting. It's very common in autistic children. So she tried, and I got to give her this. She had a Herculean effort to convince me that her superpowers are real. After I informed her that I didn't believe that she was telepathically communicating with my son, she went to other things. She started trying to cold read me, tell me things about my wife and my marriage, which was completely and totally factually inaccurate. She batted zero trying to tell me about my wife and problems in our marriage. Do I have problems in my marriage? I've been married for 10 years, and I've been with the same woman for, I don't know, 23 now, 23 years with the same woman. Do we have relationship? Do we have problems in our relationship? Sure. Because, by the way, that was one of the things that she cold read guessed. It's a generalization. And this is what cold readers do. They throw out general statements that would apply to anybody. She said to me, I can tell that you and your wife have been having problems in your marriage lately. You have problems in your marriage occasionally, but lately it seems like you've been having more. And I went, okay, I've been with the same woman for 23 years. Do we have a perfect relationship? No. Everybody's got problems in their marriage. There's even the happiest couples I know still have disagreements and still have problems, whether they be financial, right, or whatever. It's important to note, though, that she struck out. I sort of played along and said, oh, yeah, Sure, I have a lot of problems lately. Then she started getting more specific about problems, even getting into sexual matters. And by the way, that's another thing. I'm just going to say it. She is very manipulative of people, and she uses her sexuality to be manipulative. She starts several times with me. She steered the conversation towards sex, which I found odd. And I told her at one point that she was making me uncomfortable. And then she sort of backed off, but came at it again. I believe that she was using her sexuality to try to manipulate me, to get me to report that she had superpowers or to give a positive report. That's not happening, honey. I have been attempted to be manipulated by much hotter chicks than you, okay? And yeah, I recognize when a beautiful woman is trying to manipulate me. And I'm sorry, Sarah, but I'm sure that she's able to do this very, very. I've seen the effect that she could have on men. Maybe that's one of her superpowers. She's able to, use her pheromones or something to get men all hot and horny for her and do what she wants. I'm just putting it out there. She's very, very manipulative with her sexuality. She uses her sexuality to try to manipulate you into a state where you'll agree with her. So she struck out with her cold reading, talking about my wife and problems that we were having in our marriage or sexual problems or whatever. Totally struck out. And again, eventually I just called her on it. And I said, Sarah, you're using cold reading. And she's like, I don't even know what that is. Bullshit. She's been a psychic for decades now, and she doesn't know what cold reading is. You're goddamn right she knows what cold reading is. And if for her to lie and say she doesn't even know what that is, she also tried to lie and say she didn't know what a hypnotic induction is, even though she gave me a textbook hypnotic induction at the beginning of the first session that we had. So, oh, yeah, I got so off in the weeds. That's another one. Another one of her claimed superpowers is that she can telepathically communicate with nonverbal autistic children. She made that claim to me. No proof of that claim. And again, using somebody's handicapped son to try to demonstrate your superpowers. And I mean, she was all in. She was like, oh yes, I'm communicating with him right now. And later I went, he's fucking sleeping. I guess one of her superpowers is the ability to telepathically communicate with nonverbal children while they're sleeping. Maybe she went into the dream zone, right? We hear a lot about that woo shit. I don't know. And then I did call her on that, and she said, "Oh no, he wasn't sleeping. You're wrong." I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know when he's sleeping, and he was cold dead out at the time that she's claiming that she's telepathically communicating with him. But it is what it is. That's another claimed superpower that I don't believe she has, and she has claimed that. Now the danger here is that she's going to backpedal on a lot of this stuff, and she's going to make excuses, and she's going to pretend that she didn't say X, Y, or Z. I have detailed notes. I have videos where she's being interviewed by others where she makes claims of having superpowers. And by the way, I'll play an example. We're going to cite fair use. This is an example of her claiming to have a superpower of being able to feel the life force energy of fruit and vegetables in a grocery store. And if she tries to use that ability to feel the life force energy of fruit and vegetables that are canned or processed, she gets nothing. But it's just an example of one of the 100 different superpowers that she has claimed. This is called Basis 37, Part 2, Sarah Adams. So this is an example. I have 100 examples now of her claiming to have superpowers throughout all these different videos and interviews she's done, but this is just one of them, just to demonstrate the point that she's constantly making claims of having these different superpowers in interviews. We're going to cite fair use. We're educating the public about fake, fraud, psychic, intuitive healer, Sarah R. Adams. And this is fair use because we're educating the public. We're going to be discussing and critiquing the contents of this video clip. I think it's queued up to about right. Pretty sure I did that, but let me try this again. Let me try this again, friends. I always forget to share the audio, and then somebody has to say there's no sound. So let's try this again. Now that I'm sure I got the audio. Here we go. Here's another claimed superpower. It's not on our list. And by the way, I'm not a woman, but is she, what is that? Is she like wearing her underwear on the outside of her clothes? Yeah, she uses her sexuality to manipulate people. And I think that that's a salient point to bring up, that literally she's wearing underwear. I don't know what that's called, but I think it's underwear, and she's wearing it on the outside of her clothes. Okay.
Life force in
yes.
Stuff. And when he identifies certain, well, I have to be careful here. It's alleged that when he identified this with certain branded cereals, that there was a marked difference between a living thing and the branded cereal.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Miles Johnson is talking about how cereal is dead and there's no life force in cereal. You shouldn't eat it. And it's a whole big thing. But here's Sarah's claims about her superpowers. And it's funny. It's like sometimes people mention stuff to her and then she invents new superpowers that she tells everybody about. It's awesome.
I can put my hand over a vegetable or a fruit and feel like the energy force. But if I put my hand over something that was canned or something, I don't feel anything there. So when I shop often, I'll put my hand over and feel, and it's usually always fresh fruits and vegetables.
So these good old-fashioned markets you see in the high street with everything all exposed.
All right, that's enough of that. I just wanted to display that she's got, besides the superpowers we listed, she's got all kinds of superpowers. She could psychically feel the energy of fruit and vegetables. She could feel the life force energy of fruit and vegetables. So listen, Sarah, I would like to propose a test where I'm going to make 6 boxes, and in one of those boxes I will put, or let's say, I'll make 10 boxes, Sarah, and in 10, you just made the claim, not me. These are your claimed superpowers, right? So are you going to prove that that's a real superpower? Here's how we prove it. I'll make 10 boxes, and in one of those boxes I'll put just freshly picked blueberries, right? Or grapes, or an apple that was just picked off of a tree that day. And then in the other ones, I'll put canned vegetables. But the boxes are going to be covered, and you can use your superpowers and tell us which one has the fresh fruit and which one has the processed or canned fruit, I guess, by extension. That's a very simple test. And you could prove that superpower is real. But are you going to do that? Fuck no. She's not going to prove any of this shit because it's a fucking made up fantasy. She lives in fucking fantasy land where she's a superhero. That's the gist of all of her claims. She's got superpowers and you don't, and she can help you with her superpowers for $250 an hour. $250 an hour, that's what she gets. And her and her manager claim that she's the most in-demand psychic intuitive healer on the West Coast, at least. And that's why she's been ducking this final interview. Oh, and by the way, I have to do something. I just want to mention, I told her earlier today that she could come on tonight's show or not. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't want to. She blocked me on both Twitter and Facebook after we had quite a heated exchange through Facebook Messenger, which, by the way, I'm going to read all of that, Sarah Adams, because I'm that kind of asshole. That's right, Sarah Adams. I'm that kind of asshole. I'm going to read our whole email exchange. I would share screen it, but I can't because Sarah Adams decided as a defense to defrauding the public and consumer fraud that she's taking place, that she's participating in defrauding the public and this consumer fraud that she does on a daily basis. She was going to bring up some other content provider, some other content producer on YouTube and make disparaging comments about them. And why am I not investigating them? Okay. One has nothing to do with the other. So I'm not going to share the actual text. I'm not going to share my Facebook Messenger, but I am going to screenshot it all, redact the person's name that she's spreading ridiculous rumors about. And the rumors go something like this. That content creator on YouTube is taking money from people on PayPal and then bullying people. And I go, okay. So then I asked that content producer, are you taking PayPal donations or something? And this person says you're bull. And by the way, she's got a huge grudge against that content producer because of something to do with the death of her one-time boyfriend, Max Spears. So the content producer got back to me and said, I don't even have a PayPal account. Look on my YouTube channel. You can't donate via PayPal on my YouTube channel because I don't have a PayPal account. So I go back to Sarah and I go, you're spreading rumors and this has nothing to do with your fake superpowers. That person doesn't even have a PayPal account. Yes, they do. She insisted they do. I go, okay, well, she's taking money. That other content producer is taking money on Patreon. Yeah. And much to the credit of that content producer who doesn't want people spreading false rumors, sends me her entire Patreon, how much she's made from Patreon since she's been on Patreon. And it's something like $75, right? Then Sarah Adams decides, oh no, she's taking money via Cash App. And I go back to the content producer. And now she's talking shit saying you're taking money via Cash App. The content producer sends me 2 years of her Cash App, the whole breakdown. She got $10 once from Cash App. Then somebody gave her $40 and then she sent the $40 back. I don't know. I just saw that exchange. $40 from that person came in and then she sent that person $40 back. Maybe that was a short-term loan. Friends do that. But her point is she wants me to investigate every other person, right? Leave me alone. I'm not bothering anybody. This person's taking PayPal donations, even if that were true. They got a grand total of like less than $100 in a year. You're taking $250 an hour all day long, and your manager says you do 8 or 12 sessions a day. Was it some days? You work all the time, and you're booked months ahead, taking money at $250 an hour. So and that's another thing. None of this other content producers' drama and rumors has anything to do with her situation. She's taking $250 an hour. Look, even if she does 8 sessions a day, that's $2,000 a day she's stealing from people. So some other content producer got $100 in a year, and that's the person that I should be looking into. And how dare I? And I'm biased and all this nonsense. And she keeps deflecting and deflecting and deflecting and pointing her finger at this other content producer that, yeah, I kind of know that person, but why am I supposed to care? And then it gets better, friends, because then she threatens to send all her information about that other content producer to Corey Good. Okay, let's get it all out there, Sarah. You spent at least an hour telling me what a fucking degenerate slimeball lowlife you think Corey Good is. But when it helps your purpose, you're going to team up with him and go after another content producer? Again, you're a piece of shit. You sat on the phone to me telling me what a low-life slimeball piece of shit you think Corey Good is. You told me about all the different people that you knew that he stole money from, or you believed he stole money from. All of this stuff you said about him. But now you're going to send dirt on this other content producer that you don't like to Corey Good. And we're going to read that she basically threatened me that if I go forward with tonight's report on her fake superpowers, she's going to send dirt on a friend, a content producer of mine, to Corey Good. That's a threat, Sarah Adams, you asshole. You know that crazy clown is running around suing people left and right, and he's not very mentally stable. You want to team up with him? Go ahead. Go ahead. But before you team up with him, you stupid bitch, here's what you ought to do, you dumb bitch. Go talk to his former manager before you team up with him, before you ally yourself with him, you dumb bitch. See how that worked out for the manager. See how that worked out, right? See how it worked out for his former social media manager. See how a relationship with him worked out for the girl that used to organize the conferences that he did. Go ahead. Oh, ally yourself. And by the way, that other content producer, I don't want to quote them, but they basically said, do it, bitch. Do it, bitch. And I'll release all the proof that everything you're saying is a crock of shit. And by the way, everything Sarah Adams said about this other content producer turned out to be a crock of shit. And I have the evidence in my Twitter DM box in the form of the actual Patreon breakdown of how much that person made, and Cash App, how much money they were given on Cash App. She's claiming that this content producer is taking all this money from people and then bullying them. Why? It doesn't even make any sense. You know what I think? I think you got a guilty conscience, you piece of shit, because you've been stealing from people at $2.50 an hour playing superhero for years now. And I think your guilty conscience has gotten to you. That's what I think. I think you have a guilty conscience because you know you're ripping people off. The analogy I always use, and it makes perfect sense, is this. If I knock on your door and say, I'm going to cut your grass for $50, and then I just pretend to cut your grass and keep your $50, that would be a crime. So we mentioned these superpowers of yours. If you're out there telling people that you can cure people of anxiety, depression, and addiction, and you take their money and you don't, well, that's consumer fraud. If you're telling people you can cure their illnesses on a cellular level over the phone and you take their money and then you don't, that's consumer fraud. If you're telling people that you can diagnose illnesses from their aura, even on the phone, and then you can't really do that, that's consumer fraud. And one of my favorites, you've said that you can upgrade and repair people's DNA. It's very easy to look at somebody's DNA before you work on them and after you work on them and see that there's no difference between their DNA before you worked on them and after you worked on them. So that too would be consumer fraud. Your claim that you can erase people's painful memories from their mind completely. You can't do that. Not really. Not really. So that's consumer fraud. The claim that you can repair your damaged aura over the phone. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, that's consumer fraud as well. So friends, where do we go from here? People have been asking me to finish this since the spring. It's winter, right? I was done, ready to report on this in the spring, but she kept on going, here's some more proof. And she would send me testimonials from people, which, by the way, for all I know, her and her manager wrote those testimonials. I don't know. I don't know that those testimonials are real, but even if they are, just because you managed to fool some people with your fake superpowers and they were happy with your $2.50 an hour con job service, doesn't mean that your superpowers are real. And that's what she keeps missing. When I encountered her and decided to investigate her, I wanted to prove or disprove whether her superpowers are real. That's my only interest. Sarah Adams, are your superpowers real or are they bullshit? Right? So far, you've failed miserably to prove that any of your superpowers are real. So let's get back to the conversation that we had today. And again, I'm not gonna share my screen because I don't want to contribute to this person spreading rumors about another content producer, especially when I know that the things that she's saying about that other content creator are completely and totally fucked up and made up. Okay, so yesterday night, I sent her a message and I said, final request for interview. I won't ask you. Again, I've compiled my research. I will make some graphics to promote it with or without your appearance. Or I could do another part solo, presenting my thoughts and research, and your interview can be the final part. Your choice, but I'm wrapping this up with or without you in the next few days. Best regards, Stephen. And she replies, I told you via the call that I would do the interview when you took into account that I worked on your friend and he felt the effects, even though I did not tell him what work I was doing on him. You weren't supposed to do this as agreed, and I did not hear snitching about it, only that he wasn't answering you. No, I should just explain. Sarah was so she was so up on proving her superpowers to me that she said, fine, if I'm not able to work on your chakras because you have a cursed ring that you have to destroy before my superpowers work, then you can send me somebody else that's going to have an open mind, and then I'll be able to prove my powers to them. And I went, okay, I'll send you somebody else that you can use your superpowers on. And I thought long and hard about what I was going to do about that. I have friends that are believers. I have friends that are total skeptics. And I have friends that are somewhere in between. She says, you haven't contacted me since. I have no messages or nothing from you. Well, Sarah, I can share the 10 times. I count it. 10 times since the spring, I've asked you. I tried to schedule it. I've given you every opportunity to come on here, and you wouldn't. One time you said that you were deathly ill and couldn't even talk. And in the same day, not me, but somebody else pointed out that you were posting selfies on Twitter all day in full hair and makeup. So you were so sick, you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't do the interview, but you were posting glam shots of yourself all fucking day. You know why? Because you're a narcissistic piece of shit. That's why. And a liar. You told me you were so sick you couldn't do anything. You couldn't do the interview. You couldn't walk. You couldn't talk. And then you're posting glam fucking hair, and I mean the kind of glam shots where you got to have a makeup artist and a stylist at your house helping you to make these kind of glam shots. Hey, unless she's great at makeup and hair, I don't know. But it looked to me like she had a full crew there helping her make these glam shots, these model-esque glam shots all day long while she's supposed to be recovering from surgery. And by the way, that's another point. What surgery are you recovering from? Is it the fucking lip injections or the fucking facelifts that you keep getting? I believe she suffers from dysmorphia or something because she's been getting a lot of surgery, I think, lately. And, that's a sad thing. And again, one thing I want to mention is that the purpose of this video is not to damage her reputation. It's not to slag her or anything. It's to get to the bottom of the proof. Is her superpowers real or are they bullshit? That's my only intention here. Okay. Yeah. So let's get back to the messages because it gets on and on. I said, you told me you can diagnose and help people's illnesses. The person I said to you, Sarah, was not sick. He was not terminally sick. He was not sick at all, and you had no idea. Shouldn't you have known he wasn't terminally ill with your superpowers and all? So just to be clear, I did send her somebody, and I told her that he was terminally ill with cancer. He and I are friends. He happens to be a magician, mentalist, and hypnotist. I wanted to send somebody like me that could really give her superpowers a real test. So I send in somebody named Cedric Taylor. You can look him up on YouTube. It's the Urban Entity TV he runs, and he's a hypnotist. He and I talked. I explained that I think she's using hypnotic inductions and cold reading. He had one reading with her, and he came back and said, she's absolutely using hypnotic inductions or attempting to, and she's using cold reading like any other fake psychic that he's ever talked to or encountered. So the person that I sent to her, which I told her, let's be clear. I told her that he was terminally ill with cancer. And she said, oh, well, I'd be happy to help him with that. Okay. So she previously told me that she could diagnose people's illnesses by looking at their auras, even over the phone. Why, Sarah? Why didn't you know that the person I sent to you wasn't sick? Shouldn't you have been able to tell that when you looked at his fucking aura, you fraud, you con artist? Shouldn't you have been able to tell that? But no, you didn't tell that. You couldn't tell that. And you acted like he was going to die any day now. I have his notes here about how those readings went, right? She comes back to me and says, I worked on his aura, which was really bad, and he said he felt better. He felt the work. So basically you're saying you have him lie to me. Yeah, he did lie to you. He played along. This was a test. This was a test of Sarah R. Adams' superpowers, a test that Sarah R. Adams failed miserably. You failed miserably, Sarah R. Adams. Your superpowers aren't fucking real. And when somebody went in there claiming to be a terminally ill cancer patient and talked to you on the phone, you had no fucking idea that he wasn't even sick. Shouldn't you have known that? You're a psychic, right? She says, I work on people's energy fields, which affects them in a positive manner. Yeah, that's something you can't prove or disprove. I told him I cleared emotions. I never told him I was working on his cancer. Yes, you did. I told him I was working on where I felt his energy was fenced. I have hundreds of testimonials. Okay. And I reply, okay, so you had no idea he wasn't terminally ill. You previously told me you could diagnose people's illnesses by viewing their auras. Guess your superpowers failed you again. He felt nothing. He played along with you, and you had no idea you were getting punked. Guess your psychic powers failed you also. She replied, I told you I work on energy, which in turn often heals them. And then she says, well, this just shows you rigged this, and you also lie. Yeah, okay, I rigged it. I wanted to test your superpowers, and this is the best test of his superpowers that I could think of. I reply, he's a mentalist and hypnotist, by the way, and agrees with me that you use hypnotic inductions. And if that fails you or you can't resort to standard hypnotic inductions, you use standard cold reading techniques all fake psychics use. He agrees with me. You use hypnotic induction techniques and cold reading techniques. He agrees with me that your superpowers are all bogus. I didn't rig anything. I tested your superpowers and psychic powers, and you failed miserably. She says, you're also lying about how you said I would not do the show. No, I'm not. Here we are, Sarah R. Adams. Listen, I said that you could come on the show tonight. I gave you 10 opportunities to come on the show. I'm not lying when I say that you won't come on the show. How many fucking times am I supposed to invite you? You've gotten 10 invitations. I've got screenshots of the 10 invitations, the 10 times I tried to schedule with you. And I went above and beyond. I said, I know you might be on a different time zone. I'll do it whenever you want, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. No reply. Next time, Sarah, I'm still trying to finish this interview. So if you'd like to do it, I could do it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, anytime you want. Just let me know. No reply. And over and over and over again. I didn't lie when I said you wouldn't come on the show. You're not on the show. You're not on the show tonight. You could be. Oh, and by the way, just to be fair, she blocked me on Twitter and Facebook, so I really have no way of sending the invitation to her to be on the show. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to send it to her manager. There it is, to Gender Gill, and I'm going to say invitation for Sarah to come on the show. We are live right now. Last chance. And there's the StreamYard invitation. Or to Gender Gill, her manager. You can come on too if you want, but I have to finish the presentation first. Okay, so let's get back to the messages. This is like 2 hours today. She's going back and forth. I said, say what you want. Your claimed superpowers failed. You don't have superpowers, Sarah. You were as ordinary as any person. Sorry to break it to you, but that is the reality of your superpower claims. Oh, and you know what? I can share this up until a certain point. So just so nobody thinks that I'm making any of this shit up, these are the actual messages between Sarah Adams and I. So you told me previously you can diagnose people's illnesses by viewing their auras. Why didn't you know he wasn't sick? It's because your superpowers are bullshit, Sarah. She says, actually, I thought your friend was a bit creepy the way he spoke and was attempting to keep up my part of the deal. You were to send an unbiased person to get the results that way. I made my friend Cedric Taylor promise me that he would be fair and give you, enough rope to hang you. I mean, we talked honestly. I said to him, I know that you're familiar with these cold reading techniques and these hypnotic techniques. You're a hypnotist. I just want you to verify for me if she's using hypnotic induction techniques and cold reading, or if you actually feel anything, if you think her powers are real, come back to me and we'll talk about it. And he came back to me and said, fraud like all the rest. There's nothing special about her, except he agreed with me that it's quite rare that a fake psychic will take the time to actually learn hypnotic induction techniques. He agrees with me and my assessment of your fake superpowers. So I say, I sent you someone familiar with fake psychic techniques, and you used fake psychic techniques just as I knew you would. Cold reading is not superpowers, Sarah. She says, and I told you when I talked, I told him anything. I suggested if he was sick, he could look into alternative healing therapies. And I told him, I don't heal people. I work on clearing emotions and energy. You're an intuitive healer. That's the title you gave yourself. Now you're saying that you don't heal people. You work on clearing emotions and energy. Your title is intuitive psychic healer, Sarah Adams. You're fucking backpedaling now because you know that you just got punked bad. I sent a fucking hypnotist to you, a mentalist that is familiar with fake psychic techniques. And he nailed you and said, yeah, Steve, I agree with you. She's using cold reading. She's using hypnotic inductions. She doesn't have any superpowers. Now, and you feel like an asshole. Don't you feel like an asshole just a little bit, Sarah R. Adams? You didn't even know that he didn't have cancer. You didn't even know that he wasn't sick at all. And you're telling him shit. I have the notes. You're telling him shit like you're working on shrinking cancer cells and all this fucking nonsense you told him. This word salad bunch of nonsense. You're working on his quantum chakra fucking third eye pineal gland quantum entangled consciousness alter and all this nonsense you told him. Don't you feel at least a little bit like an asshole because you didn't know that he wasn't even sick and you're telling him that you're healing his fucking cancer cells, you asshole? And by the way, how fucking dare you? If you really take money from people that have cancer and you tell them shit like you're shrinking their cancer cells, then you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit if you do that. And we have proof that you did it in at least this case. Again, if your friend says, I talked, he is lying. Okay, maybe you could get a real job. I said, maybe you can get a real job and stop taking money from people for your fake superpowers. Then she claims that she did the session without speaking. No, she started the session without speaking, but then when nothing was happening, she gave up and started talking. What you do, it's consumer fraud. You could be prosecuted. Just be aware of that. You're selling your fake superpowers. And just because you have testimonials where you fool people into believing in your fake superpowers doesn't make it right. You can't scientifically prove your claims. You said you could upgrade and repair my DNA. Prove that. You can't because it's bullshit, Sarah. She replies, actually, loads of people see and experience things on their own. And yes, I speak to aliens and do loads of things. I never spoke to your friend. He kept yelling stuff. I don't know why he didn't tell me anything about him yelling stuff. Why would a guy that was pretending to be a terminally ill cancer patient be yelling? He told me that he was very reserved and even tried to hoarsen up his voice when he talked to you so that he would be believable as a terminal cancer patient. And fake fucking psychic you fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. I sent you a fake terminally ill cancer patient, bitch. And you fucking bit that hook hard, right? You're shrinking his cancer cells. You're full of shit. I just simply cleared your friend's energy. That's it. And they claim to have felt it. Yeah, he was playing along with you. He didn't feel anything. So it very well could be that he is lying also. Yeah, everybody's lying but you, Sarah. Oh, and that's when we get into the other content producer. So I'm going to stop sharing this. Let's see. Your friend blank is taking money from people and having them trolled when they don't agree with her. Maybe you should go expose your comrades for being bullies online while taking people's money. Yeah, and we've been over this. That person got a grand total of about $100 in the past year. Unlike you, who are getting, I lost my calculator. What are you getting in a day? $2,000 you're getting in a day stealing from people for your fake fucking superpowers. But go ahead, let's bring up another content creator that I happen to know, right? I said, I don't know anything about that. It's irrelevant to your con games. I asked her, are you a certified addiction counselor? You know that you can't help people with addictions in many states, at least in the US, without being certified. And here's what I'm gonna challenge her. Sarah, go through your invoices, and every single person that came to you with addiction issues, anxiety issues, depression issues, somebody that was suicidal, you got to give the money back. Otherwise, that's consumer fraud, bitch. Let's see. She replies, this conversation is now over. Oh, but I wish it was. She went on for like an hour. When you can send me an unbiased person and man up and also stop targeting me while protecting your friends who harass and use people for money, I might give you the time of day. Yeah. My friends are harassing people for money. Really. Yeah. And they're so bad at it that all they were able to do is get $100 in the past year between Patreon and Cash App. That's all they got. So they must be, if they are con artists like you, they're a terrible fucking con artist to only get $100 a day, when meanwhile you're getting, by you and your manager's own account, $2,000 a day. That's what you're getting, right? And by the way, I sent the invitation to your manager, Sarah. You could still come on here and defend yourself. You could still come on here and try to explain why you're stealing from people. But do I believe you're going to do that? Fuck no, because you're a coward. Because when confronted with the fact that your superpowers are fake, you start bringing up some other person claiming that they're taking money from people and bullying them. It's completely irrelevant here. Even if that were 100% true, and it's not, by the way, it's irrelevant. This is completely and totally irrelevant. But we're going to continue just for a little while, just so everybody can see the ridiculousness of her. This is how she's trying to defend getting caught with her pants down, not knowing that I sent her a fake terminal cancer patient and she didn't know that they weren't even sick. So now she's going to try to defend her superpowers somehow. She says, I have loads of letters about your friend, content creator, that you said some things about using people for money and then harassing them, yet you're hiding that. Okay, I actually help people. I don't get people to send me money and then bully them after. I said, you have some grudge against them. And no, we know each other. I don't know what your grudge is against her, nor do I care about that. It's irrelevant to this issue of you ripping people off for your fake superpowers. She says, I should be looking into that story. I said, who are they taking money from? Who are they bullying? I said, she makes what? $100 from Patreon. You take $250 an hour from vulnerable people. And by the way, I didn't know at that point exactly what that content creator made, but they were nice enough to give me the whole fucking breakdown. And everything she says here is completely and totally factually inaccurate, by the way. Sarah, shouldn't you have known that? If people are talking shit about you about another content creator and it's completely and totally factually inaccurate, you're psychic. Shouldn't you know they're lying to you? But you don't. She replies, I'm saying you're a liar and you're a biased person who refuses to call out your own friends who are taking money from people and having them trolled and attacked. After this, you're hiding. And you're lying about me saying I would not go on your show. Hey, here we are, Sarah. I sent the invitation to your manager, okay? The invitation is out there. You can email me right now at truthseekershow@gmail.com. I'll send you the link and you can come right on my show. I'm not lying. You won't come on the show. There's the invitation. The invitation is there, bitch. The invitation is there. I am not going to have you going around making shit up, saying that I'm not being honest here. You're the one being dishonest. You're the one robbing stupid people, vulnerable people for $2.50 an hour, selling your fake superpowers. And you're going to question my integrity about something stupid, like if I'm lying, saying that you would or would not come on my show? I've got screenshots, Sarah, of the 10 times I've invited you to finally finish this up. And you blew me off every time. I'm not lying about that. Okay. And then she says, that's again a lie. That content creator has tons of people sending her money. Well, we've seen the proof that that is completely and totally factually inaccurate, and you didn't know it, Miss Psychic Extraordinaire. The people messaging me are sending me way more money than that. The people messaging me are sending way more money than that. You're straight up lying to protect a person who is using people for money and harassing them when they don't agree with them. I have loads of letters of people saying this. And by the way, that content creator says, post them, bitch. Post them. Don't bluff. I don't think any of these letters exist. Post them. The content creator told me to tell you, post them, bitch. Post them. Let's see who's a fucking liar here. Post them. Don't threaten. Post them. Do you not think she is having people PayPal her money? Your answer about this person is so telling. And again, I say that has nothing to do with you stealing $2.50 an hour from people for your fake superpowers, even if you are correct, and I don't believe you are. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this show on you tonight. You can come on or not. I don't care. So again, I'm not lying. This is the 11th time I've invited her to come on the show. And yeah, I gave her a deadline. I'm tired of people asking me, why aren't you finishing that? I've been waiting months to finish this. She won't do it because she's a fucking coward and she knows her superpowers are fake. Okay, the acting like she isn't, like they aren't getting any money is such a trick. She has so many people sending them money, and no, they sent me the breakdown from Patreon about how much money they've made from Patreon since they began. Then they sent me the whole breakdown of how much money has gone in and out of her Cash App for the last 2 years. Again, the Cash App, it was a $10. Somebody gave them $10 and then somebody gave them $40 and she gave them the $40 back. I think that was a loan. I'm not sure that she was paying somebody back. Friends help friends. Sometimes you use Cash App for that. And what was it? $75 on Patreon? So you're talking about $85 being a huge amount of money while you're stealing $2,000 a day, giving people fake fucking intuitive healing sessions. And now you're saying that you don't heal sickness. You just, correct people's energy, but you're an intuitive healer. Do you see the hypocrisy? Do you see the bullshit? Can you understand the bullshit coming out of your own fucking mouth? Coming out of your own fucking Botox injected fake fucking lips? Can you understand why people are upset with you? She says, you're attacking me, but your own friend is over there bullying people after they send money when they don't agree. And you're like, it isn't true, despite the fact that I have letters of which I sent to another friend of yours. Okay, send me the letters. They said you can. They said you can send them to me. You can post them publicly. They don't agree with your slanderous accusations about them. And they have the paperwork to prove that everything you're saying is bullshit. And again, what does any of that person's drama or lack of drama, because there isn't anything there, you're just believing any shit people tell you, what does that have to do with you stealing from people, selling your fake superpowers? One has nothing to do with the other. Sarah is claiming that I should be looking into that story. And I did. And there's nothing to it. It's not a story. It's bullshit. I saw the documents, bitch. Do you have documents that can prove how much they took in on Patreon? Because I saw them. Have you? No, you just believed rumors of somebody. Oh, and let's get this out in the open. Who's feeding her this shit? Natasha Hines is feeding her this shit. Another person with a grudge against that content creator, right, is feeding her this shit. And she just believed it, hook, line, and sinker, because she's a dumbass. Just like she believed it, hook, line, and sinker, when I sent her a fake terminally ill cancer patient. Because she's a fucking terrible at being psychic. If she's really claiming to be psychic, honey, you're a terrible fucking psychic. You should have known that Natasha Hines is lying to you. And by the way, the quality of the sourcing that you're using is an asshole who claims to be, what is she? She's a life coach, right? And hey, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard it from multiple sources. She's a life coach who lives in her parents' basement. She's over 40, lives in her parents' basement. And hey, this is going to sound shallow, but Natasha Hines, I'm gonna go there. Natasha Hines, you're at least what, 150 pounds overweight, right? And I say this because it needs to be said. This is the quality of some of these drama-rama asshole people who claim they have superpowers or they're special. Natasha Hines is a fucking life coach who's 40 plus years old, lives in her parents' basement, and is 150 pounds overweight. I'm sorry, honey. You disqualify yourself for being anybody's life coach, okay? Maybe you can life coach like a homeless person that's a junkie on the street because you're doing slightly better than them, but not by much. This is the quality of the person that fake psychic intuitive healer asshole Sarah Adams is listening to. A fucking life coach that's 40 plus, living in her parents' basement, 150 pounds overweight. Yeah. What a great life coach, man. And by the way, Natasha, you know, if you want to get into it with me, fine. You're allowed on here too. You're welcome to come on here. I'll send you an invitation. But oh, you blocked me too, because you're another fucking nut job. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to continue this. Sarah says, wow, you really like picking what you think is true or isn't according to your liking, huh? Then, in the meantime, I'm going back and forth with this other content creator, and I said, they sent me their Patreon earnings statement, you dummy, Sarah. And no, they don't have a PayPal donate on their channel because they don't even have a PayPal account. Who's that in your ear? Is it Natasha? She's fake as shit, just like you, a life coach who's 40 plus and lives in her parents' basement. Oh, and then she says she's got to get a dig in, and I give her that. Just get a good dig. I'm not worried about your show at all. Nobody listens to it, and the only way it would get recognized is if I promote it, and I have better things to do. Okay, nobody listens to it. I don't know. What do we have? We have 30 people watching now, plus people on Facebook Live and Twitch. It is what it is. Okay, so a lot of people listen. Even if I'm going to put my ego aside. Let's say nobody listens to this. Let's say a few people listen to this. Wouldn't you still want to set the record straight and come on somebody's show that's going to accuse you of consumer fraud and explain why what you're doing is not consumer fraud? But she won't do that. She cowered it out, and she fucking bowed out here. She cowered it out, bowed out, blocked me, and won't come on the show. I sent the link. You could still come on the show. Sarah, you could come on anytime. You could come on the show anytime. So let's get back to her trashing another content creator for no reason other than to deflect the guilt away from herself. Okay, so she says, you're saying they don't have a PayPal. How would you know this? Because they told me they don't, and I believe that if they did have a PayPal, they'd have a PayPal donate button like everybody else that has a PayPal on their channel so they could get a couple of bucks in donations. You're like contradicting yourself over and over. No, I'm pointing out some real things here, and that's why you're scrambling with your responses. I say I'm not scrambling for anyone. Again, this is all irrelevant to your conning people with your fake superpowers. One thing has nothing to do with your power with the other. Again, you're making excuses and deflecting responsibility for stealing from people with your fake superpowers. She says you're clearly biased and will defend people who are your friends who are harassing and taking money from people, yet you claim you don't know them well, but you claim you know they don't have a PayPal, which is laughable. I never claimed I never said that I didn't know them well. I know them well enough. I mean, we're probably more than acquaintances, right? I don't know. You failed to send an unbiased person for me to work on. No, I didn't. I sent you a fake terminally ill cancer patient, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker because you're fucking fake. If you were really a psychic, if you were really an intuitive healer that could look into somebody's aura and tell what sicknesses they had, then you would have looked into his aura and said, excuse me, Stephen told me that you have cancer. You don't have cancer. Stephen told me that you're terminally ill. You're not terminally ill. I could tell that by your aura, but you didn't. Did you, you fake bitch? You didn't do that, did you fake fucking slime ball, dirt ball, stealing money from fucking sick people? That is the worst of the worst. You're taking money from sick people and fucking telling them that you're going to help them with your fake fucking superpowers. That's bullshit. You should be in prison for what you've been doing to people. You deserve a prison sentence for fraud. Okay. Then she tries to say that I once told her that content creator was really shady. No, I never said that. We never discussed that content creator ever, except she had mentioned that she didn't like that content producer because that content creator had said something about the death of Max Spears, and she actually they didn't. Somebody else on another channel said they said something they never said. Well, so Sarah says, you're unhappy in life. You hate spirituality. I hope you get better. And of course, you had no good comeback for the above messages because it's true. Yeah, actually, I do have a good comeback. That all the shit that you're talking here, Sarah, is irrelevant. She says, actually, scientists have proved there is an energetic quantum universe and we affect it. Okay, with the word salad, what does energetic quantum universe even means? You don't even know, Sarah. Define it for me. You can't. It's just made up nonsense word salad. That's what you do. She says, you want to do some real journalism? Have an open mind and don't hide your shady friends who admitted they were shady. Okay. I said, I did have an open mind. I thought we could prove your superpowers were real with a very simple test. You failed and failed miserably. You also basically tried to manipulate me to report in your favor. You tried to bribe me. Remember? Oh, I forgot about this. You'd get me some very lucrative work if we stayed friends. Then she says, that content producer is having people send them gifts too. This is hilarious. I never tried to bribe you. Yes, you did. And I have proof of that. Yes, you did. Sarah Adams tried to bribe me in the form. This is what she said. She said, I know this is after the second Sarah Adams part 2. She calls me and she says, I know you're very skeptical, but if we could reach some kind of agreement here, I can make sure that you could get a lot of money. I have a lot of money. And I said, is this bitch trying to bribe me to tell everybody that her fake superpowers is real? So I drilled down a little bit. I'm like, well, what do you mean you have a lot of money, Sarah? She says, you know how much money I make? I just bought a brand new $80,000 car and I bought it cash. And I went, okay. And she goes, there's a lot of things that you could do to help me and I could pay you for. You're a computer guy, right? Like maybe you could do my website and I'll pay you. And then she quoted me a figure, which is about 10 times more than it cost for a web design service. In other words, if generally to do a quick web design for somebody, I would charge $500. She basically said she would give me $5,000. So she tried to bribe me. She tried to bribe me to get me to report this report in her favor. And she's going to talk to me about integrity, right? I never tried to bribe somebody to tell people that my fake superpowers are real, Sarah Adams. She says, I'm biased. I said, I don't have time to argue with you. I have things to do. I know that content creator enough to ask them about your claims. They shared their Patreon statement and told me the only gift they got was a birthday gift card from Natasha for $50. And by the way, there was something weird with that. Like it didn't even come from Natasha. The life coach had to get her mom to give her the $50 and send a gift card. Maybe she didn't have the $50. Maybe, I don't know, something weird with that. And Sarah Adams says, you're still claiming she doesn't have a PayPal? Wow. Yeah. At least I believe that they told me what they told me. I said, if they had a PayPal, they'd take donations on their channel. They told me that they do not have a PayPal account. Again, all of this is relevant to you stealing money from people with your fake superpowers. We're done here, Sarah. Best of luck making a living stealing from vulnerable or stupid people. Then she comes back with, no, that person takes Cash App, Facebook 2 payments. Okay, they sent me the Cash App, and there was a $10 and a $40 that was really a loan that she gave back to somebody. So all of this is nonsense. It shows you're hiding your friend's shadiness. Yet you're targeting the spiritual community. No, I'm targeting the con artist community that is selling people fake superpowers and stealing money from sick people. And she said, I know somebody has the ability to prove they were sending them money. Okay. They said, put it out. Go ahead. Put it all out there, girl. We'll put it all out there. We'll get to the truth of this and we'll find out who's shady, right? I'm pretty sure that people are going to think that you're the shady one for even bringing this up. Has nothing to do with you getting caught with your panties down, not knowing that I sent you a terminally ill cancer patient that wasn't terminally ill or a cancer patient. You fake fucking fraud psychic. Oh, and here we go. It gets good. Then Sarah says, oh, I said, you going to hold me responsible for reporting on every content creator that I know? I'm not biased. You're full of shit and you're stealing from vulnerable people. Deal with it. Don't deflect. Don't bring up other people I know. Next, it gets great. She says, I should send this whole story to Corey Good and let him know how your friends are taking people's money and harassing them, yet targeting anyone who claims they are spiritual. He has a huge following. Actually, I told you, I'm gifted. I help people, and I'm not stopping. This whole conversation is proof that you're biased and also that your circle is shady. I don't have a circle. It's just me. I run my show solo. Do I have other people? Some will call them friends. I hope that I can, for some of them, that create content on YouTube. Sure, but I don't have a circle. There's no such thing as the Dark Alliance, bitch. Don't get me started on that. I say, okay, now you're threatening me or threatening that other content creator with Crazy Corey Good. Very love and light of you. You're a fraud. I remember you told me what a terrible person that you think he is, but now that it aligns with your needs, you're going to involve yourself with him? And she said, and you're shady. Okay. I said, I'm going to share this whole conversation on my show, you dummy. Keep threatening me. She says, actually, no, I'm saying before you guys attack us in spirituality, go stop being shady yourself. You're biased. I said, yeah, I'm shady. I'm not the one who's out there selling fake superpowers to dumb people. That's you, Sarah, and that's shady. I said that other content creator has nothing to do with you, Sarah, and nothing to do with you stealing from people either. Keep talking. I'm sharing all this on my show. The public can decide who's shady, you or me. And she says, you're not, this, like I said, this conversation went on for hours. You're not taking into account that you were lying to me. You did not send an unbiased person to speak to. No, I sent you somebody who pretended to be a fake terminal cancer patient, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker. You know why you bought it hook, line, and sinker? Because your fake fucking psychic powers aren't real, Sarah. Your fake fucking psychic powers aren't real, or you would have known that that guy was not a real terminal cancer patient, you asshole. You're biased and targeting people that are into spirituality, yet you're acting shady, and so are your friends. Okay. I say, I'm doing the show on you tonight. I'm not spreading rumors. I have no issues with that other content creator. Whatever she does, whatever they do, has nothing to do with you. But I believe you are wrong. You are listening to people with grudges. You spent half this conversation bringing up other people's sins or sins you think they did. You'd be better off dealing with your own. You're a fraud, Sarah, and your superpowers are not real. She comes back with, actually, I could do an article where that content creator supported a woman saying I killed my ex in another country via black magic. And that makes them look so bad because anyone knows that he died of an overdose. It's in the court documents. So there we have it. She's got a grudge against that other content creator. What does this have to do with her being shady and selling people her fake superpowers, taking advantage of sick people, even terminal cancer patients she's willing to take fucking advantage of? Really? Are we going to get it? Is this like who's the better low life? Like who's the bigger low life contest? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to lose that contest when people realize that you're stealing money from terminally ill patients for your fake superpowers that don't exist. And again, you lied about me saying I won't be on your show. Well, here we are, Sarah. If you want to be on the show and prove that I'm a liar, then come on. Come on, Sarah. You guys sent the invitation. I'm going to send it to your email from your website too, you know. She says, I may not agree with Corey, but it's evident that the group attacking him are clearly shady and hate anyone claiming to be spiritual. I said, I haven't done any shows on him in what, a year? No one cares about him anymore. He's melting down, suing his former manager, former conference organizer, and 10 other people. I don't care much about him. She says, no, I don't hold a grudge. I'm just shocked at what that content creator actually supported a woman who claimed I killed my ex via black magic when they claim that they don't even believe in that stuff. I says, again, this has nothing to do with your superpower claims now proven fake. She says, you're just angry that I called you out in your circle. And I said, I have other things to do today. Here, we're wrapping up here. I have other things to do today before showtime, so we're done here. I'll send you the link. You can come on or not, your choice. She said, you lost this conversation. I said, showtime, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night. And that's it for that. So that's all the drama. And now it's out in the open. You know, she's going to deflect from her own sins, claiming, you know, some other content creator did X, Y, or Z. Sarah, none of that has anything to do with you stealing money from sick people, okay, for your fake superpowers. And by the way, I'm going to cite fair use. I'm sure he won't mind this, but I'm going to cite fair use anyway. And I'm going to show you the person who I sent. This is the person who I sent to Sarah Adams to pretend to be a terminally ill cancer patient. His name is Cedric Taylor. He's a mentalist friend of mine. He's also a hypnotist. Let's see. And this will give you a little bit of information about, oh, geez, I probably did it again. Oh, hold on one second. I just thought it was kind of funny that he did a Who Am I video, because then I could, let me try sharing this again, get the audio this time. He did a Who Am I video. So, you know, he can explain who he is better than I could. All right. Here's who I sent undercover to investigate the strange case of Sarah Adams with me. He's a mentalist and a hypnotist. Here's a short clip where he'll tell you a little bit about himself. And I assure you, my friends, being a mentalist and a hypnotist, he is more than qualified to evaluate the claims of a fake psychic or a fake intuitive healer and determine whether she is using magic tricks, cold reading, and hypnotic techniques, especially because he's a hypnotist. He would be able to recognize the hypnotic induction, and he agrees with me, by the way, Sarah Adams, you dumbass, agrees with me 100% that you're using hypnotic induction techniques, the power of suggestion, and cold reading to convince people you have superpowers. He was not convinced, and neither was I. Imagine that.
Let me guess. You're probably wondering, who's this weirdo in those weird cloaks giving out all this information? I don't blame you. Who do I think that I am? Let me tell you. Cedric Taylor, Christian apologist, hypnotist, writer, public relations.
Yeah, Cedric Taylor is well known in the mentalism and hypnotist community because, quite honestly, he's a bit of a rarity. An African-American gentleman who has been very successful in what is typically a Caucasian-dominated entertainment form. Most hypnotists, if you think about it, I mean, how many African-American hypnotists or mentalists have you seen? Almost none. I just want to point that out. But he's well known in the community of hypnosis and mentalism for being a very skilled individual. And I encourage you, we're going to post a link if somebody could help me. We're going to post a link to his YouTube channel where he does all kinds of hypnosis tricks. He makes people paralyzed, unable to move, all kinds of stuff. He's more than qualified to help me investigate the strange case of Sarah Adams and find out if she really has superpowers or not. And he came away agreeing with me 100% that you're fake as shit, Sarah Adams.
Now, prior to graduating college, I worked with the great Morgan Strebel, the man that bends metal with his brain. Yeah, that guy. And I have experience with doing circus sideshow acts, sleight of hand magic, hypnosis, and I've written a few books. Nothing really special. But while working with Morgan, I learned a ton from him. How to book gigs, how to create a buzz, how to create a story, visually and psychologically.
All right, we're gonna cut that. But I just wanted to. Cedric was otherwise engaged this evening and unable to attend our show. I just wanted to make sure that everybody realized that the person that I enlisted to help me investigate the strange case of Sarah Adams is a qualified hypnotist recognized in the field of hypnosis as an expert. I couldn't have asked for a better ally to send in, and he was down with it because he's kind of the Houdini or James Randi school of being a magician. He doesn't like seeing. He was horrified when I told him what this woman was doing. And then we decided, let's send him in there as a terminally ill cancer patient and see if she's going to bite on that. She bit on it, hook, line, and sinker, my friends. She bit on it, hook, line, and sinker. Completely fell for our deception. Now, people can claim that what I did was dishonest. I disagree. I believe that it was a fair test of her super secret or her super psychic powers. You know, I was really hoping, and so was Cedric going in there. Me and him had a conversation, and I said, Cedric, what are you going to do if she knows right away that you're not terminally ill? And he said, I'll probably shit my pants, because then that would mean her psychic powers are real, and I've never found a real psychic in my life. And I said, yeah, me neither. You know, we wanted her to succeed here. We wanted her to stop him and say, wait a minute, I'm checking your aura. You don't have cancer. You're not sick. She didn't do that. She identified, agreed with him that he had cancer, mentioned his cancer while she was repairing his aura, and that's how you know that she's fake as shit. Sorry, Sarah Adams, your fake superpowers are fake as shit. Your fake superpowers are fake as shit, and we've proved it here. If your superpowers weren't fake, you would have known that that gentleman didn't have cancer. You would have known, shouldn't you have known that we were being deceitful right from the get-go, because you're intuitive, you're psychic, she's claimed all these superpowers. She's got telepathy. Wouldn't she have been able to read my mind and know I was trying to punk her and fool her? No, she fell for it, friends. And I mean fell big. Cedric told me that it was funny, you know, like she gave him a hot reading based on everything that I had told her. And here's what I told her. I said, he's been struggling with this terrible cancer for 3 years now, and he's been close to death a few times. They say he doesn't have long to live, so he's very psychologically, you know, fragile, and, you know, oh, I can help him. She went to that reading and just repeated everything that I told her about our fake terminally ill cancer patient, proving once again that she's a fraud. If she was really psychic, she would have known that I was lying to her. She would have known that that person wasn't sick, that they didn't have cancer. According to her, she could diagnose people's illnesses by looking at their aura. Why did she not know that he didn't have cancer? Why did she not know that he wasn't sick after viewing his aura and diagnosing him? No, she gave him the same bullshit spiel that she gave me. I'm aligning your chakras and clearing out your negative energy. You know, I'm working on your lungs. I'm working on your brain. I'm working on this or that. Oh, I can see that this area is very affected by your illness. No, he doesn't have any illness, you dumb bitch. He wasn't sick at all. He told me he didn't even have a cold for a year before you gave him a healing session, right? So what were you healing him for? And to her credit, she did not charge me for the sessions, and she did not charge me to send Cedric Taylor for a healing session, but she does charge people that are terminally ill $250 to do virtually the same thing. And that makes her a piece of shit. That makes her a fucking low-life scumbag. You're going to take advantage of somebody that has a terminal illness, really? Then you're a piece of shit. And I'm just going to say that. You're a piece of shit. If you take money from somebody that's terminally ill and claim that you can help them with their terminal illness with your fucking fake superpowers, then you're a piece of shit. You're just a piece of shit. And that's the way it is. And I'm allowed to think that. You know why, Sarah? Because most people agree with me that you're a fucking lowlife if you do something like that. Most people would agree with me that you're a fucking lowlife for doing something like that. Now, I have just one more. I'm sorry, friends. We went very long. I didn't mean to go this long, but this is a lot to unpack and explain. So I'm just going to share one more thing, and that is I'm going to share her website. And we can look at the claims that she makes on her website. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. How to achieve God consciousness. Let me ask you a question. If you had God consciousness, Sarah, shouldn't you have known that I sent you a fake terminally ill cancer patient if you already had God consciousness, but somehow you're going to teach other people how to achieve God consciousness? Ooh. Oh, and she's hawking Gaia here. Yeah. You're a keynote speaker. Keynote bullshitter? Whoa, that's great. Okay. All right. And just so everybody understands, oh, look, you can get an animal healing session. What is an animal healing session? 1 hour session is $250. I know that. Hello, you beautiful soul. I'm so glad you are here. Let me take you through a journey that permeates throughout the layers of your existence, into your cells, into your DNA, into your soul. Elevate and align your energistics to the highest attainable level and embrace your inherent light. Awaken the power and remove your limitations to love and self-mastery. Discover the love that you are and the love that is. I work with the 12, I'm skipping around, work with the 12 chakra systems, light bodies, the arc planes, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, soul and divine blueprints, physical systems, and much more. As a gifted and experienced intuitive, I can assist in uncovering the origins of your path and bring you clarity and a deeper understanding of your current circumstances. Ooh, some topics that can be covered in an hour. See the careful wording? These are topics that can be covered in that hour for $250. Soul guidance, chakra aura channel, meridian balancing. That's all nonsense. Channeling messages from spirit guides, angels, archangels, and ascendant masters. Oh, I forgot. That's more superpowers of her. She can channel messages from your spirit guides, your angels, your archangels, and your ascendant masters. Past life releases. Genetic repatterning. What the fuck is genetic repatterning? What the fuck is that? Did you just make that up? I don't know. Addictions. Repetitive patterns. Astral projection, lucid dreaming, anxiety, depression, psychic attacks, empaths, inner child aspects, relationship with parents and other family, emotional blockages, cords of attachment, archetypal energies. Wow, I swear she had, anxiety and depression. Here we go, anxiety and depression. So she doesn't say she's going to treat you for that, but these are topics that can be covered. Book a 1 hour appointment. Pay online, only $250. A 1 hour video session, though, if you want her on video, is $333. And an in-person session is $555. Wow. Request a 1 hour video or in-person session. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. But let's find out about the animal healings, because who needs a veterinarian when you got a crackpot with fake superpowers? Oh my God, is she really fucking doing this? Yes, she is. Book a 1 hour animal healing session. Has your pet not been themselves lately? A distant energy healing can help your pet come back to a more balanced physical and emotional state. Most animals respond very well to energy healing. Sarah uses Reiki, telepathy. There's more superpowers. She can heal your fucking cat over the phone, bro. That's another superpower. We got to add that to the list. She can heal animals with her superpowers. Wow. Some topics that can be covered in an hour include illness, missing pets, depression. She can treat animal depression. Is that another superpower? Pain management, anxiety, new environment, faster recovery from procedures or surgery. Oh my God, I can't believe that she's making these kind of ridiculous claims. Animal Reiki reduces stress, helps emotional issues, PTSD issues, long distance healing in the comfort of your home. Animal healing, 1 hour, $222. So forget a veterinarian. You don't need a veterinarian. You need this fucking crazy girl who claims to at various times either be an alien hybrid or an actual alien. She told me she was not of this earth. And I said, what do you mean you're not of this earth? She said exactly what I said. Stephen, I am not of this earth. Okay, you're an alien. So who needs a fucking veterinarian? Just give her $222 and she'll heal your pet. Fuck the veterinarian. She's got superpowers. Oh, and there's a package. Then she's got a multi-dimensional course. Oh, disclaimer. Let's read this. This is the disclaimer. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. She's got to put the disclaimer. It's educational in nature and is provided only as general information and is not medical or psychological advice. Yeah. So this is the disclaimer. I'm full of shit. If your superpowers were real, you wouldn't need a fucking, what is this, a couple of pages if you put it in a Microsoft Word. Yeah, look at this. This is the wordplay. This is great. Any information presented on this website about energy medicine is not intended to represent that energy medicine is used to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any medical problems or psychological disorder, nor is energy medicine intended as a substitute for seeking professional healthcare advice and services. Sarah does not provide any medical services and strongly advises that you seek professional advice as appropriate before making any health decision. Yeah. Any information, stories, examples, or testimonies presented on this website do not constitute a warranty, guarantee, or prediction regarding the outcome of an individual using such material contained herein. So this is her out. This is how she could get away with this legally, or she thinks she can. She thinks she could just post this disclaimer and then she could fucking rip off everybody she wants to with her fake superpowers. If your superpowers were real, bitch, you'd be in a hospital healing terminal patients all day long. You're not. You know why? Because your fucking superpowers aren't real. You're just a crazy bitch. And I hate to say that, but you're a crazy bitch. And to put it a little nicer, and in all fairness, I think that she has psychological problems. I think that she suffered some abuse as a child. Given her own stories about suffering abuse as a child, I believe that she suffered severe psychological trauma and abuse as a child, and she's created alters. That is multiple personality disorder or dissociative disease. I'm blanking on what it's called now. They don't call it multiple personality disorder. She mentioned having alters to me. Oh, and that's another point that I'd like to make. She has a very, Sarah Adams, and this is a small point, but it's important. She has a very distinctive pattern of speech, and she has a speech impediment. What do I mean? Listen to her in any interview. She can't say or pronounce the letter G. In other words, I may say interesting. She doesn't do that. She says interesting. She cannot produce the letter G at the end of anything. So she continually does things like that. One of the times she was working on me, she told me that she was channeling my guardian angel. And my guardian angel would talk to me and give me some advice. And then she kind of talked in a raspy voice, but she still had the same speech impediment. So somehow my guardian angel has the exact same speech impediment that Sarah R. Adams has. I found that interesting and proof that she's full of shit. Oh, let's see the team. We're gonna look at the team then. Yeah, and this is, look, she's got a PhD on her team. That's great. Dr. Chad. I'm willing to bet that doctor's not a doctor. A lot of these so-called doctors aren't doctors. Here's our webmaster. Oh, you know what? We should email each of these people and say, here's the link to join the show. Yeah. And there's a whole page of testimonials. I don't know if they're real or if they're not real. Let's read her about, because this is interesting. Sarah has experienced many things, from seeing abductions to seeing angels who aided her. Her awakened consciousness increased as she got older. She experienced the supernatural and past lives in Egypt and Atlantis, telepathy, weather abnormalities, feeling others' emotions. Well, see, she's got a lot more superpowers that we didn't even list. Remote viewing, quantum leaping. Honey, quantum leaping was a fucking television show. There's no such thing as quantum leaping. That was a fucking television show, you asshole. Quantum leap is a television show. It's not a scientific term, you dumbass. Time travel, among other alternate realities, Sarah has endured. I've healed so much and believe every day is a healing journey to greater heights. Sarah works with many clients around the world in what she calls intuitive healing. And except she's not intuitive and she's not healing anybody, according to her own fucking disclaimer on her website. She's not healing anybody. But I love that she calls herself an intuitive healer and then tells me she doesn't heal people. Great. This is great doublespeak. This includes using homeopathy, herbs, supplements, diet superfoods, detoxing, energy work, essential oils, visualization, meditation, subtle energy work, cellular work. There you go. She says she works on people in their cells. When I had the sessions, when Cedric Taylor, the urban entity, fake terminally ill cancer patient had the sessions, she said she was working on his cancer cells. She told me she was working on my cells in my liver, I think. Probably knows I drink too much, but it doesn't take a psychic to figure that out. All to heighten the frequency of the temple and the precious bodies we have been given. She has made TV appearances on Gaia, including Beyond Belief and Buzzsaw, as well as Vice TV, The Basis Project, co-hosting the Divine Truth Show on Revolution Radio, and many others. Sarah Adams continues to be a major force in the world of enlightenment while healing many around the world. Well, there you go. You're saying you're healing many around the world with your fake superpowers. And there's one other thing I wanted to share, which I think tells you everything you need to know about Sarah Adams' products. She sells snake oil. D-Spark restores your spark and your chi energy. It's an alchemical aura charging mineral formula that I call meditation zen in a bottle. If you fly long flights like me, or need energy, or simply just want to bring your frequency up, then D-Spark is the perfect product for you. Then I have a challenge for you, Sarah Adams. Tell me what the ingredients are and show me scientific studies that prove that the ingredients of this snake oil do any of that shit. It's an alchemical aura charging mineral formula. First of all, you can't prove any of this. It could be bullshit. It could be salt water in this bottle that you're selling. It could be anything. And you could say that it's an alchemical aura charging mineral formula. How the fuck does anybody know what a real alchemical is it aura? Yeah, aura charging mineral formula. And you call it meditation and zen in a bottle. She could be selling anything. Are you selling that in the United States? Has it been approved by the fucking Food and Drug Administration to be a real alchemical aura charging mineral formula? And by the way, look at the fucking price. $67 for this bottle of fucking snake oil. That's what she sells. And by the way, she was selling some kind of homeopathic remedies for people with COVID and defending doing that. Then I think her and her manager thought better of that and they stopped selling that. To my knowledge, best that I can recall, they were selling some kind of homeopathic remedy and they were pushing that on people that had COVID. That's another slimeball thing to do. Selling people this fake snake oil and telling people that it's going to supercharge their mineral or supercharge their aura is another snake oil fucking despicable thing that you're doing. You can't prove that helps anybody. And you could tell me, you have testimonials, because she does. She has testimonials of people saying, I love the Spark product. I feel so much more energy. She could be selling fucking liquid meth in a bottle, and that's why people feel more energy. What are the ingredients? Why aren't you listing the ingredients? Why aren't you proving that this does anything other than line your pockets with cash? You fucking low-life scumball making money from desperate people, looking for some kind of answers, looking for some kind of help. Oh, and here we have our courses, which I think is great because a fake psychic, fake intuitive healer that can't even tell the difference between a real terminal cancer patient and a fake one is somehow going to train you on light being activation. And she'll teach you how to create, open, and access stargates and portals. Those are bold claims. How much is this course where I get to learn how to access stargates and portals, create them, and open them? She claims that her course will teach you to interact with ETs, angels, and other light beings. For the multidimensional course, Sarah guides you on energy work, Reiki, detoxifying, diet, meditation, prayers, positive mantras, past life regression, soul work, DNA upgrades. There it is in black and white. She claims she can upgrade your DNA. That's a fraudulent statement, Sarah. That's a bullshit fraudulent statement. You cannot claim that you can upgrade people's DNA. We can look at somebody's DNA before taking your course and after taking your course and prove that nothing changed. You cannot upgrade people's DNA with your fake fucking superpowers, you asshole. Jesus Christ. She's going to upgrade your fucking DNA. No, she's going to upgrade her fucking bank account, stealing money from you stupid motherfuckers dumb enough to give her any money. That's what she's going to do. That's what she's going to do, friends. She's going to upgrade her fucking bank account. She's not upgrading your DNA. She's not going to upgrade your DNA. No, she's going to upgrade her fucking bank account, stealing money from fucking sick people and vulnerable people. And by the way, I think there is I'm going to look, I think there's a contact email. I could be wrong. No, there isn't a contact email. But there's you could sure pay her, but there's no contact. Oh, wait, maybe there is. Oh, bookings at Sarah R. Adams. Yeah, here. Okay, great. I'm going to, just bear with me, friends. I'm going to go to my Gmail. All right. I'm going to go to my Gmail, and I'm going to send her. I'm going to send her the invite for the show via email. That means I will have sent it to her manager. I sent it to her earlier today before she blocked me, and we're sending it to her contact email. So when she tells people I'm lying, she never said that she wouldn't go on my show. I got a message from Kel Truth. So shout out to Kel Truth. All right, so let's send her the invitation to come and join the show. If she wants to, she can. You can join in the live show through this link, Sarah. Otherwise, stop saying I'm lying about you not being willing to come on my show. I'm not lying. Here you go. Here's the fucking link. I'm sending it to you, Sarah. Right now, I'm sending you the fucking link. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. And there we go. I have sent her the link. Then there you go. So I sent it to your manager. I sent it to your manager. I sent it to you via Facebook Messenger earlier today, and I've sent it to your email. Here we are. We're waiting for you. Do I think you're going to show up? Fuck no, but I'd like you to, because then we can have a conversation, and maybe we could reach some form of understanding other than, just disagreeing or agreeing to disagree, because I think that's kind of where we're at now. We're just going to agree to disagree. You claim you have superpowers and that you heal people, but then your disclaimer says you're not healing people. Yeah, it's nice doublespeak, right? Is that how you get around criminal prosecution, or you think you're going to get around criminal prosecution? Because I don't think that's going to work, man. I really don't think that's going to work. And by the way, I'm sorry to that other content creator, but I talked to them earlier, and they're like, yeah, fuck her. Let her put out whatever she's going to put out. I didn't get a bunch of money. I'm not collecting a bunch of money from people. And here's, to their credit, they gave me all their financial records. And I was like, Jesus, I didn't ask for all this shit, but thank you. Now I know they're full of shit, All right, we're gonna take some comments. I will devote. I'm sorry to go so long. This was a hard presentation, and thank you guys for all being here. We had great attendance tonight. Explain why you stole $50 from a supposed dying cancer patient, Sleazy Itch. I think you mean her, and I don't. She's taken $250, not. Oh, here we go. She can drop those letters proving her claim about others while she's at it. I want to see that. Yeah, we all want to see it. Drop the letters. You know how to screenshot shit, or your manager does. Screenshot that shit. Put it up on Facebook. Put it up on Twitter. We all want to see who's talking shit about other content creators behind their back, especially when they're just slandering people and making shit up that isn't real. And people can prove that they're making shit up that isn't real. Yeah, and so what if she was? She's not, but what does that have to do with anything? It's just her way of deflecting. She has no defense. I think she felt like a total asshole knowing that she fell for the deception. Sarah Enema Adams. Yeah, she's always pushing enemas. Maybe she's got an anal fixation or something. Maybe she likes it. I don't know. She's always pushing enemas, talking about how enemas can change your life. And fuck no. Fuck no, man. I will say that for a few weeks out of the year, I eat very high fiber, try to clean things out. But enemas, not so much. Vanessa Thor says, drop the letters, B. Yeah. Yeah, can we get them without things blocked out? Yeah, don't redact anything. Don't protect people who are fucking talking trash. Yep. Projection, and deflection. Yeah, exactly. It's ridiculous. And it's crazy that this woman can go around stealing money from people like this. And that's what she's doing. I keep saying this, and it makes a lot of sense. If I pretend, like, if I knock on your door and say, hey, I'm going to rebuild your deck, and then I just pretend to rebuild your deck and keep your money, that's fraud. That's a crime. But somehow she could pretend to align your chakras. She could pretend to repair your aura, to pretend to upgrade your DNA. She's full of shit. She's just full of shit. So any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the live chat. I'm sorry to go so long without interaction here. I am interested in what you guys think, and I'm glad to finally get this thing off of my list of things to do. Yeah. It is telling she is making money off of claims of communication with nonverbal autistic kids and animals. Both can't confirm. Exactly. So she could just steal money from people and pretend to work on your fucking sick pet or talk telepathically to your son that doesn't speak. And that bothered me a lot because I got real emotional when I thought for a moment that she may really have some kind of insight and, like, oh, maybe she does know what his favorite color is and things like that. And then, by the way, she failed miserably cold reading me about him and started telling me all kinds of shit that was no way was it true. Like telling me his favorite food was this, when me and my wife, we know for sure what his favorite food is. By the way, it's pasta. He devours pasta. Every time there's any kind of pasta dish, he eats like a fucking wild hog. He loves pasta. She said it was something else. Nope. Something that he won't even eat. So she's using, yeah, I agree. I don't know her, but I bet she is watching right now. Hi, Sarah. Yeah, her and her manager. Both of them are fucking cowards. They're both watching. I know you're both watching. And if you guys want to be cowards, go ahead and be cowards. And you can deal with the fallout. And you know what, Sarah? Fuck you. Because you said nobody watches this. Nobody listens to me. Okay. I'm going to put this out there in the fucking universe, and we're going to see who listens to this, bitch. How about that? How about that? Put that in your fucking fake biography of your fake fucking superpowers. I'm a better psychic than you because I predicted that you would be too cowardly to do the final interview. Ask around. I told a lot of people who asked me, what's going on with this strange case of Sarah Adams? Why haven't you ever finished that? And I told 10 different people that you were ducking me, and I didn't think that you were ever going to do the interview. So far, I'm a better fucking psychic than you are because you didn't even know that I sent you a fake terminal cancer patient. You fake fucking fraud. Of course she's watching. They're watching, trying to figure out a damage control plan right now. And guess what? If nobody listens to me, you don't need a damage control plan. I think you know better, Sarah. I think you know a lot of people are going to listen to this. I think you know. Yes, and that's what it's called. Thank you, Vanessa Thor. Her dissociative identity disorder is likely copied from media. The changing of her accent and crap she saw on TV. Yeah, she's got a weird accent. And then here's another thing. She claims that she grew up in France. I asked her to speak French. Somebody told me to gotcha her with that. She can't speak French. How the hell do you grow up in France and you can't speak a word of French? I think that might be bullshit. I don't know. But I don't know. Nothing that she told me panned out to be true. Nothing, Sarah Adams. You grew up in France, but you can't speak a word of French? And then I asked her, I'm like, how long did you live in France? You're like, oh, until I was 18. You spent 18 years in France, and I said, no, really, say anything to me in French. I love the French language, especially a woman speaking French. Come on, say something in French. She couldn't say a fucking word of French. I knew more French than she did, and I never even took French or been to France, but I could speak more French than her. There's something suspect about that. Does that mean she's making that up too? Yes, KB, put that in your enema and shove it. Yeah, you fucking fake fraud bitch. Going around telling people I'm lying, telling people that you won't come on my show. Here, we're on my show, bitch. You can come on any minute you want. We're on my show, bitch. We're on my show right now. I sent you the invitation links. All you got to do is click on it, and you could come right on here. You're more than welcome, and you could defend yourself, or you could send your fucking manager, that weirdo manager you have, which, by the way, that manager she has is completely and totally in love with her. He dedicates his entire life to her. Nobody does that out of just friendship. I think that guy's in love with her, and that's why he dedicates his entire life to her. And there's all these issues with her. I don't even know. Yes, she'll say the Campion's energy was too hostile, and that's why she won't. I'll calm down. I'll calm down. We could have a very reasonable discussion. I will be more than polite to you. I won't interrupt you. You can say your piece. You could come on here and say whatever you like, Sarah R. Adams. And yeah. 220 an hour to talk to a poodle. Yeah. They always say nobody's watching it. They quote stuff going on all our shows. Yeah, I know, right? Or we get Corey Bad gets caught listening to C.W. Channer in the middle of a fucking live stream that he was when he was a guest on somebody else's show. Anyways, it was another case of could save the world with my gifts and 4,000 IQ, but nah, just go to open the site and ask for money instead. Exactly. If she had these superpowers, why doesn't she go fucking heal? Listen, here's one for you, Sarah Adams. If you really can heal people with your superpowers, why aren't you spending day and night in child cancer wards, right? Curing children of leukemia. It's because you can't, because your fucking fake superpowers aren't real, honey. And I took no pleasure in any of this tonight because I truly feel sorry for her. I think that she suffered some kind of traumatic childhood abuse, and that caused her to have dissociative disorder, multiple personality disorder, whatever you want to call it. And she even talked to me about her alters. People with multiple personality disorder have alters. People with dissociative identity disorder, whatever you want to call it, have alters. Alters are created from severe childhood abuse. Okay? So she herself told me she had alters. That means she's got serious psychological issues stemming from childhood trauma. So as much as I could rag on her for being a disgusting, despicable lowlife of a human being, stealing money from sick people, I still have empathy for her because I think that she suffered some kind of childhood trauma that caused all of this, caused her to believe that she's special, she has superpowers, she's an alien, she's not from Earth. I think she's got real problems, and I hope that she gets the help that she needs. And by the way, wherever she's at in the world, I could maybe help facilitate some psychological counseling for her. And I hope she gets it, because maybe if she got some counseling, she would no longer feel the need to rip people off to feel special. Thou a real high spiritual leader to threaten to send Corey Good after your perceived enemies, and great discernment to gossip with Natasha, hateful transphobe troll Hines. Yeah, fuck her too. Fuck her right in her eyes. Fuck the both of you right in your eyes. You're both despicable individuals. Sarah better watch out for Mrs. Cambian after all that sexual talk and asking about Cambian's sexuality and pushing the marriage problem talks. Yeah. You know what? It came off to me as like, how do I explain this? Vanessa Thor, have you ever had a male friend that was sort of trying to get with you even though he knew that you were married, and he would sort of like poke around to see if you had problems with your wife or you weren't happy with your significant other, so they'd know if they had an in or not? That's kind of the thing I got, but I didn't think that she was genuinely interested in pursuing something with me. I think she was just trying to sweet talk me and manipulate me with her sexuality. Someone talk to my husband like that, I'd go res fast. Yeah, I didn't even mention it. It's better not to. Yeah. She rips people off to pay for things. Yeah, and she made this big hubbub about feeding some homeless people in Egypt. And I had some inside story about that it was all a publicity stunt. Take from that what you will. That's what I've heard. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. Out of mind. She was working me. Yeah, I mean, she tried everything to get me to confirm her superpowers were real, or at least be not damaging to her claims and her reputation, I guess, was the last sort of conversation we had about that, where she was like, you know, there's a way that we can both still win in this situation. And I'm like, both of us still win? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm going to report what I think is truthful and accurate. I don't care who wins. It's not a game. It's not like, you know, she's a hobolist. Yeah, maybe. And listen, I've talked to more than one male who said that she tried to manipulate them with her sexuality. And, you know, God bless her. Some women can get away with doing shit like that. And it's very effective for some women. Men are stupid. Men are easily manipulated, especially by a pretty girl. Do I think she's attractive? I would say that I think she used to be before she started messing with her face with all these surgeries and injections. And I don't know what's going on with her now, but she looks like a pulled plastic fake Barbie right now. You know, and it's unfortunate. I think she looked much better before she did any of that shit. But I think maybe she lives in California or LA, and, you know, everybody does that out there, to her credit, or to her, in her defense. But, you know, she's getting all these lip injections, and she's got these huge fake lips now, and her face looks all pulled like she had a facelift at her age. Why would you even have a facelift? But okay. Yeah. Friend said a bartender was hitting on my cuz she's flirting for tips, and she ain't though, my dogs. Yeah. Yeah. You ever notice like listen, that's just the way of the world. Like a pretty waitress is going to make twice as much as a not so attractive waitress. That's just the way the world works. And I was a waiter. Boy, when I was a waiter, I wouldn't flirt with the dudes. I would flirt with their wives, or I would just make comments so their wives liked me, because I knew the wife was deciding on the tip, you know? I used to joke and say things like, oh, how you doing today? You're living the dream. Are you having a nice dinner out with your daughter? And I knew that was a guy's wife, but I would say that, and they would tip me really well. So the world is sometimes about careful manipulation, and we all do it, I guess. She does it a lot more than others. That's what I'll say. You know, some of that's harmless. You're just trying to get a bigger tip, whatever. Yeah, Mario Heat, she's pretty crazy. She's pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah, but friends, you know, again, I'm going to stress the point that I think she needs psychological help and assistance. We've heard her make I've heard her make claims of all kinds of different stuff, from being an alien to being a half-human hybrid that was experimented on, to she had that black goo injected in her as a child, and it made her stronger instead of killing her, and this and that, and that's what gave her powers. She's got like 3 different superhero origin stories for how she got her superpowers. The first was that she was abducted as a child and experimented on in like a Project Montauk-like situation, and they injected this artificially intelligent nanotechnology black goo into her that rebuilt her cellular structure and gave her all these superhuman abilities. Then later she changed that to she's a human hybrid, half human, half alien human hybrid, and that her mother had some connection to a military base where they stored bodies and they injected alien DNA into her and this and that. And then it was, I'm just an alien. I'm not of this earth. So she's retconned her superpower origin story 3 times now. Yeah, I agree with you. I made good commission at Comcast, all phone work. It's just about talking to people like regular people and be comfortable with them. Yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean about like a lot of jobs, you have to subtly manipulate people to get your commission or your bonus or your tip. And, you know, that I don't think that there's any harm in that. But when you get to the point where you're literally manipulating people to take $250 an hour to work on their fucking sick poodle, that's crazy. That's a little too far. Thank you for all you do. Stephen, Out of Mind, going to spend the night looking over your site. My apologies, I have not heard of it before today. Out of Mind has an incredible site, and you're going to love it. Join, and she posts everything there. Everything going on in the paranormal, conspiracy land, UFO land. Out of Mind's got it on her site. It's amazing. It's amazing resources. Yeah, the claim she made about her mother is still alive. Can she get her mother to verify the story? Well, she could. Do I think she's going to, Jasmine Emmerich? Fuck no. Fuck no. She's not going to have her mother verify her fucking story about being an alien hybrid. Yes, evolving, Mark Tarana, good point. Evolving narratives, that's a red flag. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, and by the way, Sarah Adams also knows my personal... Sarah, you have my personal cell phone number. You've called me 15 times, probably, maybe more, right? You know, there was a time when she would just call me out of the blue and say, like, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. And again, like, it didn't come off as genuine. It came off as if she was trying to manipulate me into being her friend. And it almost worked. I almost didn't do this. I put it off for so long because I didn't want to go hard and crazy at her, because I truly feel sorry for her. She's got mental problems. That's what I'll say. I truly feel sorry for her. She's got mental problems. She needs psychological counseling and help. Call her, Stephen. I can't, because she always called me from Facebook Messenger or some weird number, and I got a new cell phone. So I don't have her as a contact anymore. She always called me from different phone numbers. And then she explained it one time and said, well, I'm house sitting, so I'm calling from the landline. And that kind of made sense, I guess. But then I would call back that number the next day, and there'd be somebody there that didn't know Sarah Adams. So it was weird. It was weird. Yeah. So, you know, I guess we're going to, if anybody else has any comments, questions, yeah, and Spooky, call her right now. I would if I could. I really would. I thought of that, but I really and truly just got a new cell phone last month, and she hasn't called me in a few months, so I didn't have any of the numbers that she, and like I said, it was like weird. Like I couldn't call her back at any of the numbers she called me from. Then she wouldn't have did if she's a hybrid with healing powers. She could make her psyche whole. If she has memories of her alters actions, then she doesn't have DID. She's malingering. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but there's really something serious going on with her, Stina. So I guess we're going to wrap things up here. Have some other things to do this evening. Oh, Jolly said, I'm sorry. Jolly said, I'm working and the boss is asking why I'm laughing, and then said, it's okay. I didn't tell him why. Jolly Bridge Burner, when are we going to get an update on the cases from Judge Jolly? The primary difference between those with dissociative disorder and those without is just amnesia, the fractured states, meaning she wouldn't recall anything while in alter. Wow, that's interesting. And Vanessa Sorthes, interesting. Those are both valid points. Thank you. Yeah, she talked about her alters a lot, and that made me uncomfortable because I was thinking, aren't alters created when somebody's like very severely physically or sexually abused as a child? I thought that that was the case. I haven't done much reading on it, but I thought that that was the case. So she made me very uncomfortable because on multiple conversations, she said, I'm bringing in my altar. And then a few times she said that she was going to channel my guardian angel or something. And she just talked with a little, like a hoarse voice, or I don't know, but I'm happy to put the strange case of Sarah Adams behind me now. We've done 3. This is part 3. We've done 3 parts. I've explained this the best that I could. And, I did the best that I could investigating her claims. And again, my major goal was to simply prove or disprove that her claimed superpowers were real or not. I believe that we've sufficiently proven that her superpowers are bullshit. So it is what it is. And, still, some people are still going to believe her and some people are going to believe me. That's just the way the ball bounces. That's the way things go. Yeah, she must have watched Sybil or Split, right? Spooky has a superpower. What's your superpower, Spooky? Maybe we can investigate you next. Coming for you, Spooky. Also, the identities are usually created because of childhood trauma. Say a female was abused, some would make a boy alter because girls think boys are stronger. Yeah, and I believe that she has male alters. I could be mistaken. Spooky's superpower is to make Stephen Cambion drink and stream for 6 hours. Hey, you can say whatever you want, Spooky. That was kind of fun. That's why I didn't end it. I was like, well, we're all having a good conversation, and I got shit to do. I had nothing to do that night. So I was like, we're just going to keep this thing going. And also, I'm happy to report that the hard, fast 2-hour stop, whatever it was when I first started this new channel, if I went a minute over 2 hours, it would take 5 days for the stream to show up on the channel. I don't know why. Maybe they were prioritizing new channels, or, the processing for new channels was set super low. But whatever it is, that's gone now. So we don't have a 2-hour limit anymore. That's good news. And also, I just want to check in with PayPal. I didn't do this. I didn't get the begging bowl out today. But I want to check in with PayPal see if we have any new donations. Oh, geez, why is it asking me for all this shit? Prove you're not a robot. I think I'm not a robot. Now it's asking me again. All right, that's letting me in now. I don't know what it is with PayPal lately. Okay, friends, let me look at my activity here. Okay, so we didn't get any new PayPal donations, but we did get a huge PayPal donation of $75 from Dan Hogan on October 30th. So thank you very much. And then on October 27th, Reemsey donated $10. Thank you very much. Jonaside donated $5 October 14th. And then we had someone with the initials ASS donated $15 October 6th. That brings, and also just a point to mention that the Patreon this month is all delivered. So you guys all got your PayPal benefit or Patreon benefits. There was an audio journal this month. There was 3 hours and 15 minutes of the audio from the Mind Hack Project. And also I put my drunk stream. Spooky, you think that 6-hour drunk stream was crazy. You should have seen the 2-hour drunk stream or hour and a half drunk stream I did about Michael Horn and the Billy Meyer cult. I agree with everything I said, but I still pulled that down because I was like slurring my words and shit. I was 10 or 12 beers in when I started the stream. So I decided to pull it down from our public channel here, but I thought that my Patreon supporters are supporters, and people asked me why they couldn't see it, or God damn, I missed it. Can you send it to me? So give me the $1 on Patreon and you too can see my drunk stream. Vanessa Thor says, I came into the show thinking Sarah was harmless, and I walk out sick that she threatens other content creators with no good, uses nonverbal autistic kids and animals and her sexuality to prey on people. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen Cambion is Zuckerberg's latest mandroid. What's that about? Mandroid? Yeah. The sexuality is still debatable, though. The rest, though. It could have been my perception. Maybe I don't want to say wishful thinking, but like I've been married a long time, but I know when a girl is flirting with me still. At least I think I do. But I don't believe that she had any interest in me other than trying to manipulate me. Cambion is definitely a robot. Yeah. Maybe. You never know. I could be a hologram. You see all this stuff, right? This is all an illusion. Maybe I am too. I could be an AI hologram created just to host the show. And I could be some fat guy that's sitting off in the corner behind a curtain laughing at all you people. You never know. Mark Toronto, Horn was harassing me the other day, pushing Silly Meyer BS. Yeah, his latest is, Michael Horn's latest is that now they have a fake picture of one of Billy Meyer's trash can spaceships with the stealth fighter. And it's so copy and pasted fake, it's ridiculous. Yes, Mario Heat, Robo Cambion. That's almost as interesting as a Mexican Canadian. How the hell I never knew there was Mexican Canadians until Mario Heat. A Mexican Canadian with an Italian first name, too. Hey, Mario. Russian AI bots are trying to steal the election. Of course they are. Yes, I actually am Mendoza, right? This is a big latex. It goes down to here. It's just a latex mask. No, I don't say enough. You ever notice when you listen to Mendoza, it's like, well, I'm getting this intel, and the intel is telling me that there's going to be a mass coronal solar event, and that's I think Stina pointed that out, like how many times he says, and that is a confirmed tactic of a pathological liar. They're stalling for time. Yeah, she did ask me, I don't want to get too deep, but Vanessa Thor, she asked me like what I like and stuff. She made me a little uncomfortable being a married man. I didn't think it was an appropriate conversation. So, but it is what it is. Latex. Now you're speaking my language there, Stephen. That's too much information, Jolly Bridge Burner. Absolutely too much information. Intel, yeah, briefings. He gets briefings from generals. Yeah, fucking right he does. He gets briefings from a fucking bong. That's where he gets his briefings from. Steve C is here. I didn't do shout outs today, so let's do some shout outs. We have a good audience here today for this. Shout outs. I'm going to go way back up, make sure we get everybody. Shout outs to Spooky. Shout outs to Jolly Bridge Burner. Shout out to Lee Veltman, Out of Mind. Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Stina Maria. Shout out to Jolly Bridge Burner. We got that. Shout out to Vanessa Thor. Mario Heat. Shout out to Jasmine Emmerich. Shout out to Jonaside. And did I get everybody that's here? Michael. Jeanette Krasenko. Shout out to KB. I don't know if I missed anybody. Speak up in the live chat. I'm rolling down here. Shout out to... Yeah, we got Michael. Leave Veltman, maple syrup and latex. Okay, who is wrestling and where? Debriefing at the Spooky says debriefing at the swinger party. Absolutely. Yeah, it was 2.5 his per 10 seconds. So 2.5 seconds for every 10 seconds he speaks, he's going, Spooky election night coverage bonanza. Yes, and Spooky has agreed to be our United Kingdom or English news correspondent for the evening, and I'm going to hold her to that. And on election night, we're going to do a panel. So if you want to get in on the election night panel, we could have up to 10 people on the panel besides me. Just email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com and say, I want to be on election night show. Or DM me on Twitter and say, I want to be on the election night show. Or PM me on Facebook, send me a private message and say, I want to be on the election night show. I'll put you on the list. And then when the election night show rolls around, I'll have a list of people that we can send a link to join the show. Uh-oh. You probably are one of those individuals who put ketchup on eggs. I put ketchup on scrambled eggs. What? Mario Heat, come on, bro. All people put ketchup on scrambled eggs. At least I do. I don't know. If it's an omelet, generally I don't, though. Like if it's like an omelet and it has like cheese and like peppers and other stuff. Yes, KB, you can be on the show from your phone, absolutely. So you're more than welcome to join us. I love her hat too. She looks like somebody from Gone with the Wind with that hat. Mario Heat, you disgusting white folks. Oh, come on. Mario Heat, Mexicans are just as disgusting. After all, Mexican Donkey Show. All I'm going to say is Mexican Donkey Show. That's all I have to say. You want to talk about disgusting? Fucking Mexican Donkey Show, Mario Heat. You want to call Americans disgusting or white people disgusting? I don't think so. We don't do donkey shows, bro. Oh, shout out to Solar Marshall. The stealth fighter BM UFO is terrible. Yeah, it's really funny. When is it? Election night, I think this is what we're talking about. Okay, he says I use hot sauce or homemade salsas. Fuck ketchup. Ketchup is basically a smoothie given then tomatoes are fruits. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'll agree with you. Ketchup is kind of gross. And people that put ketchup on everything. My wife puts ketchup on my child's mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, she puts ketchup on it. He won't eat mashed potatoes unless you put some ketchup on it. So she puts ketchup on it. Okay, Michael said that him and his, I believe that's his girlfriend or wife. Mike said that he wants to be on the show. So we got 2 guests already, plus Spooky. That's 3. So we have 3 people for the panel for election night coverage. And we're going to watch the world burn because I'm telling you, I don't think they're going to have an answer about who won on election night. We're not going to know for 2 weeks out, maybe longer. And the longer it goes, the worse it's going to get with all these riots and stuff. That's my prediction. We'll see what happens. Are you kidding me? You Googled donkey shows and you couldn't find anything? Google Mexican donkey show, Mario Heat. Okay? You'll find it. You'll find something about Mexican donkey shows. Do I have to do it right now? Jeez. Okay, here. You can look up donkey show. It's right on Wikipedia. A donkey show is a supposed type of live sex show in which a woman engages in bestiality with a donkey, which, according to urban legend and some works of fiction, were once performed in the Mexican border city of Tijuana, particularly in the mid-20th century. As of late 2008, they have been mentioned as a reason one may want to visit Tijuana, and native tourists may seek them out. In popular culture, the donkey show has been portrayed in several American films, including Losing It, Bachelor Party, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Clerks 2, The Heartbreak Kid, Cake, and the Comedy Central program Strangers with Candy. Jerry Blank, the show's central character, repeatedly claims to have been a performer in Tijuana donkey shows during her days as a sex worker, and sometimes speaks of the shows in tones of wistful nostalgia. In 2006, the term is claimed to be used to describe a situation that has become a complete mess. Yeah, like that. This is a fucking donkey show. Look it up. It's right on Wikipedia. What do you mean you couldn't find it? Donkey shows are a thing. Mario Heat. Do it live. Mario Heat says, how's that bad? Yeah, I listen, it's entertainment is entertainment. Yes, Tina Maria. Mario's got safe search on. Apparently, because you could find that. So will the U.S. election be, and shout out to Steve C., will the U.S. election be contested by Trump or Biden? It's going to be contested by whoever isn't the declared winner. The other person's going to sue the other one into oblivion. That is, that's what's going to happen. Biden. Trump was hired for an 8-year stint as CEO of U.S. Incorporated. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't want to get too deep in the woods here, and we want to end the stream soon, but today in Pennsylvania, Trump had a rally in Western Pennsylvania somewhere, and he had 60,000 people show up. 60,000 people. And meanwhile, Biden can't fill a fucking high school auditorium. So I don't believe the polls. I don't believe anything that they're saying. I'm sorry. I just don't believe the polls. Start a new stream. Come on, Spooky. I don't have any beer, so I probably can't do that. It is early though. Oh no! Out of Mind says, my first hubby told me he went to a donkey show. Yuck. I refuse to confirm or deny that I once saw a donkey show in Tijuana, Mexico in 1998. Donkey shows are real. Mario Heat. Donkey shows are fucking real. Tijuana, Mexico, donkey show. One may ask why somebody would want to see a Mexican woman perform an act of bestiality with a big donkey. I'm not sure why, but it's a thing, Mario Heat. Out of Mind says busted. Yeah. So friends, we're going to end the stream here. Now that we're getting into like donkey sex shows and bestiality, it's a good time to transition out. I do want to thank everybody for their patience in finally getting the end of the story. Is it the end of the story? I hope so, because I don't want to waste any more time on this crazy person claiming that she has superpowers. So this is the strange case of Sarah Adams, part 3. She's a fraud. And we'll see if nobody listens to it, Sarah Adams. We'll see if nobody watches it, Sarah Adams. I know you and your manager are watching it right now, and maybe that's enough for me. So, friends, I want to thank everybody that came here tonight. We had really good numbers tonight. That's very encouraging, especially because we never broadcast on a Sunday night. I'm going to have to start doing that. Looks like a lot of people are looking for something to do on a Sunday night. Sunday is kind of boring sometimes, right? So I think we're going to try a show next Sunday as well. And also, I just wanted to mention that I have a great deal of shows planned in folders, and we're going to get back to our usual coverage. I know we took a detour with this Philadelphia riots and the Philadelphia Riot Awards and all this stuff that we don't usually cover. We're getting back to our usual coverage as we did tonight of strange and unusual and paranormal, mysterious subjects. Yes. Genocide says, later, everyone, much love, even you, Sarah. Yeah. As much shit as I talked about you and whatever my personal feelings for how despicable and deplorable you stealing money from sick people for your fake superpowers are, I love and care about you, Sarah, and I want you to get the help that you need. You can contact me if I can help you in any way to stop ripping people off and to, get the psychological help that you need. I'm here for you. I would still help you. We can disagree, right? And I can disagree with you stealing money from people, sick people, for your fake superpowers and fake healing sessions that even you admit on your website aren't healing sessions somehow. I don't know, in your disclaimer. Listen, we can disagree, and I can still care about you and try and help you, Mario Heat wants Sarah to visit him in the astral tonight. No donkey. Live on my lappy, maybe? Oh Oh boy. Steven, you asshole bitch. Fuck you. Also, Steven, I can help you. I care about you. Well, I am a Gemini, right? There's two sides to me, right? I got to have some kind of balance. I do. Listen, I'm human. I hate what she does. I hate what she does. I feel like she's ripping people off, taking advantage of sick people, desperate people, you know. But I still recognize that she's a human being, and I would go out of my way to help her if I could. If she asked me for help, I would be right there to help her. I would. And that may seem strange to some people, but it is what it is, friends. So on that note, yeah, so we didn't put the begging bowl out tonight, but if you would like to, there's a about section, and you could donate by PayPal or become a Patreon supporter if you want to see shows like this continue. I think it's important that we have somebody out here telling the truth about these new age con artists and not taking a bribe to play ball with some of these people. We need that. We desperately need more honest people that are going to investigate these things and tell people the truth about whatever they found. I hope I get to continue to be one of those people. So until next time, friends, I'm Stephen Cambion, reminding you that sometimes the truth is ugly, but it's still worth having. Good night, friends.